And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 1025 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Cannonball's Covers wants you to join their team of experienced car and boat trimmers. If you want for good pay, atmosphere, and culture, you need to apply to Cannonball's Covers today. Join qualified associates in a great place to learn the craft and grow your career. If you're an experienced trimmer or are looking to elevate your career in trimming, call owner Cannonball White at 615-828-6571. Visit Cannonball's Covers on Facebook or visit their new location at 4010 Clarksville Pike for more information.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's as the neighborhood bar and restaurant to catch the next Preds game. Jasper's is located on West End Avenue and offers a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, and a large bar and lounge area. Plus they offer free parking. That's right, free parking on West End, and offer specials for every Preds game day, including $10 smash burgers and $3 bottle domestics. So come on down to Jasper's next game day for happy hour every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m. and 2-for-1 beers all day on Sundays. Just tell them that Robbie Stanley sent you.
With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours.
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24. The sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
One of the smartest things you can do for the new year is convert some of your home's equity into cash. You can do it right now with a zero-cost cash-out refi from Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now. They can fast-track your home refi and get you a check for 50, 60, 70 grand or more. And if you call now, Loan Pronto can even pay your closing costs. Listen, your home value is way up. Use it to your advantage. Get cash out now. Pay off those credit card debts. Consolidate other debts. Start that home improvement project and get your finances in great shape for 2022. Loan Pronto's refis usually close in just 2 weeks, and the process is easy. It's all digital. Call Loan Pronto now. Put that equity in your home to work towards financial freedom for the new year. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Good morning!
Morning! Robbie and Rex Road mornings from 6 to 10.
It's not bad. Might have to work on that. It's not bad. It's the starting point.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and now Facebook Live, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus, phocus.com. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Caroline Fenton is here. I knocked down a Focus this morning. Just want everybody to know that.
You feeling good?
I am fired up. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about, Elijah's in for Ian today. I am fired up. Fired up. Watched the whole wild card weekend like all of you. Was rooting for different teams, for the reasons for the Titans. Got a tiny little bit excited when the Steelers went up 7-0, but then kind of came back to reality. But by the way, I'd like to state for the record that I told everybody that they could change their mind on Friday. I said, hey, I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs, but you can change your mind. And I think you should be able to change your mind. And I noticed a lot of people today have changed their mind about the Bills and the Chiefs.
I watched about the first quarter of the Bills game, and I thought, all right, they were instantly added into my most likely to make it to the AFC Championship game.
There you go. There you go. So I sent out a tweet this morning, and boy, did people get mad at me.
That's not the first time.
Did you see what it was?
I don't think I did. I've had a pretty busy morning.
I sent out a tweet that said, ignore the noise.
Oh, I did.
And everybody was like, what are you talking about? You're a talk radio host. You are the noise. What do you mean ignore the noise?
Which is a fair point.
I'm not talking to the players. I'm not talking to the players. Listen to Robbie and Rexroad today, and Joe's going on this rant about what me and Chad Withrow said about Jerry Stackhouse and Vandy basketball. I'm going to make something clear for our listeners today. Today we're going to be talking about the Titans and the Bengals. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Titans and the Bengals. Wednesday we're going to be talking about the Titans and the Bengals. Thursday we're going to be talking about the Titans and the Bengals. And guess what we're going to be talking about on Friday?
Titans and the Bengals.
The Titans and the Bengals. That's right. And also let me state for the record when I talk about blocking out the noise, the Joe and Robbie noise, or, the noise that's trying to affect my brain about, you'll hear a stat that gets repeated over and over again, and then everybody will believe it. And I'm just not operating like that as I drop my pen. I'm just not operating like that this week. I'm sitting here telling you what I think, and that's it, and it's Titans and Bengals. But as I add in, ignore the noise. Here's another thing I just want everybody to know. It is Bengals, not Bengals. It's been driving me nuts already this week. It's Monday.
And you addressed that with me this morning, and I've been practicing it all day. I don't think I can say Bengals.
Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals.
Just don't say Bengals.
It's gonna slip out. I'm gonna say
like
it how I say it.
Don't say Bengals. I can't. It's driving me. I was at Chris Sims on TV the other night. Bengals. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. So I want to start off on the Bengals because I think a lot of us thought the winner of the Raiders-Bengals game, which I thought was going to be the Raiders, I thought the winner of that game was going to play the Titans. I never really thought that New England was going to beat Buffalo, even though you all know how much I love Belichick. I just thought Buffalo was an elite team. As I was pointing out all last week, nobody talks about them like an elite team, but I think they're an elite team, and I certainly didn't think that Pittsburgh was going to hang close with Kansas City. So I kind of assumed the winner of the early game was who you were going to play, and it is Cincinnati. And everybody's asked me, and people will say, what do you think about the matchup with Cincinnati? And I will sit there and say, I think it's a pretty good matchup for the Titans. And everybody says the same thing. Like, oh my goodness, what about that quarterback? What about those wide receivers? Who's going to cover Jamar Chase? Who's going to cover T. Higgins? Who's going to cover Tyler Boyd? Let me ask you all a question. If you played Kansas City, who's going to cover Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Mecole Hardman, and Byron Pringle? If you played the Buffalo Bills, who's going to cover Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie and Dawson Knox? The Patriots have an all-pro corner in J.C. Jackson. How'd he look covering them when they got no pass rush on Saturday night? Here's why the Bengals are not a bad matchup for the Titans. This is the final 8. The idea of drawing a really bad team, it happens like once every 5 or 6 years. The Titans in 2017 were an example of that. They went to Arrowhead, won a magical playoff game, and ended up in the AFC in the divisional round against the number 1 seeded Patriots and got their hats handed to them. Like once every 5 or 6 years that happens. That Titan team was so bad that the coach got fired the next day. Tim Tebow's Denver Broncos. Miracle play to Demaryius Thomas. May he rest in peace. Miracle play in overtime. Decent defense. Beat the Steelers. Ended up getting housed by number 1 seeded New England. Very rarely does an average team or a below average team like this year's Philadelphia or this year's Chargers or a team like that make it to the final 8. This is the final 8 of the NFL. Even San Francisco, who I don't think is the greatest team in the world, they're in the Final 8, and they're an above-average football team. So let's look at the Bengals and why I think this is a good matchup. Now remember, they won their games, the big ones that you watched, at home. They beat Kansas City at home, and they beat the Raiders on Saturday at home. Did you hear how electric that atmosphere was? By the way, lower level tickets for Saturday's game at Nissan Stadium are going for $1,000. So home field advantage will matter. But the reason I bring this up, the 2021 Bengals this year, 7th in scoring offense, 17th in scoring defense, 13th in total offense, 18th in total defense. But here's the big stat. 17th in forcing turnovers. You know why they won that game against the Raiders? And there were a lot of things that happened in that game, but it was really a back and forth game after the Trey Hendrickson forced fumble. The Raiders turned it over inside their own 20, and that's why it was a 2-score game the entire time. Meanwhile, the other teams that are still around in the tournament, the Chiefs, 4th, that's better in scoring offense, that's better than the Bengals. 8th in scoring defense, that's better than the Bengals. 3rd in total offense, that's better than the Bengals. 5th in forcing turnovers, that's better than the Bengals. And 12th in forcing interceptions, that's also better than the Bengals, who are 15th. The Bills, the other team that's left in the AFC tournament, 3rd in scoring offense, that's better than the Bengals. 1st in scoring defense, that's better than the Bengals. 5th in total offense, that's better than the Bengals. 1st in total defense, that's better than the Bengals. 3rd in forcing turnovers, that's better than the Bengals. 1st in forcing interceptions. How big was that first interception Micah Hyde got at the beginning of the game against the Patriots? The Titans, by the way, 15th in points, not as good as the Bengals, and 17th in total offense, not as good as the Bengals. Every other one of those stats, 6th in scoring defense, better than the Bengals, 12th in total defense, better than the Bengals, 14th in forcing turnovers, better than the Bengals, 7th with an all-pro safety at forcing interceptions, better than the Bengals. You are clearly drawing the 4th best team in the AFC at home. And that's why you get the bye. Now, I would have loved the Steelers too. But again, that happens once every 5 or 6 years. You get that lucky where you get to punch a magic ticket all the way to the AFC Championship game. The Bengals are an inexperienced team that really never put the Raiders away on Saturday afternoon. The Raiders were also 1 of 5 inside the red zone. Anybody else think A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry are going to be held to 1 of 5 inside the red zone if the Titans get 5 cracks at it? The other thing about the Bengals is this. They have an offensive coach who is pumped up because Joe Burrow's scoring a lot of points for him. He was the worst coach in the NFL, or at least had the worst team in the NFL before Joe Burrow got there. Have we ever seen Joe Burrow elevate another mediocre to below average coach into best coach out there? Oh, yeah, I think Caroline was there for it at LSU.
I know it all too well.
There you go. This is the best matchup. And the Bengals are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Titans can't lose. They can definitely lose. They lost to Cincinnati last year. But when you look at the rest of the tournament, and you look at teams that play defense, that force turnovers, Cincinnati's not it. Buffalo is it. Kansas City is it. And that's why you'd be an underdog at home if you played either of those two teams. Titans are a 3.5-point favorite on Saturday. Cincinnati also had the unfortunate experience, and this is why a bye is very important. Just ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday, who lost almost their entire starting offensive line. But they lost their defensive tackle, Larry Ogunjobi, and they lost their star pass rusher, Pro Bowler, 14 sacks, 5th in the NFL, Trey Hendrickson, who's in the concussion protocol and might or might not play on Saturday. That's a big deal. You didn't lose anybody this weekend. In fact, you get Derrick Henry back. This is a great matchup. A team with very little playoff experience that is incredibly dependent on one side of the ball, that is no longer playing in the comfort of home. This is who you want to play in the playoffs. By the way, everybody always talks about the 2 times that the Titans were the number 1 seed at home and lost to the Ravens, right? We've heard that time and time again about, hey, remember 2000, remember 2008. What travels when it comes to the playoffs? What do they always tell you? Hey, you can pack and play this. Defense. Doesn't matter if you're a dome team. Doesn't matter if you're a West Coast team. Doesn't matter if you're a South team. If you can play defense, you can go on the road and win in the playoffs. That's why Mike Vrabel has had so much success in the playoffs on the road as a head coach. He's a defensive coach. His teams when he played, Belichick's Patriots, defensive teams. The Bengals on defense. 17th in points allowed, 18th in total defense. So a below average defense by those 2 metrics. They're also 17th, again, below average. There's 32 teams. Below average in forcing turnovers. The 2001 Ravens, first in defensive points allowed, second in total yards, and they were first in turning the football over. Oh, yeah, they turned the Titans over. Pick 6 cost them the game in 2000. The 2008 Ravens, the ones that came in here and won, third in points allowed, second in total defense, and a first in turning the football over. Cincinnati is 17th. I'm not dogging on Cincinnati. I'm not saying Cincinnati's bad. I'm not saying Cincinnati doesn't have a great quarterback. I'm not saying Cincinnati doesn't have a bunch of wide receivers. But guess what? It's the final 8. Tampa Bay has a great quarterback. Green Bay has a great quarterback. The winner of tonight's game, people will say, has a great quarterback. Buffalo has a great quarterback. Kansas City has a great quarterback. Almost everybody except for you in San Francisco have a great quarterback. So no matter who you play the rest of the way, if you win this game, you'll play a great quarterback. And if you win that game, you're playing Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady because it's the playoffs. And I've always been told, offense sells tickets, defense wins games. This, in my opinion, is a good matchup for the Titans. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Caroline, I can already hear it. Without even taking a phone call, without even going to the text line, I can already hear. Jared, you're getting too cocky. You're getting too arrogant. You're getting too this. You're getting too that. I can already hear it. I can hear it. I can hear you all in your cars. I can hear you watching on YouTube or Twitter, or I can hear it all. So I am going to say one thing. There is a different way I would react if my opinion mattered like it does for the players and the coaches over there. And I want to get to that next. Because there will be a lot of things you hear about Cincinnati. But I think deep down inside, Vrabel knows, hey, this team doesn't force a lot of turnovers. This team just lost one of its big run stoppers. This team defensively is below average. And he knows they're not the Chiefs, and he knows they're not the Bills. 615-737-1025. Your thoughts on the Cincinnati matchup. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think about playing Cincinnati? We'll get your thoughts in as well. We'll get Caroline's because it's a Reaction Monday, which is powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Stillman and Company. Caroline wants to tell you about her friends at Caesar Sportsbook.
All right, people, it is time for the Caroline Fenton Caesar Sports Book Report. Wildcard weekend is behind us. We've still got the Rams and the Cardinals tonight, but next up is the Divisional Round coming up this weekend. Now, before the games get underway, download the Caesar Sportsbook app, and they will match your first bet with a free bet up to $1,001, win or lose. Just use promo code RADIORF. One word, that is promo code RADIORF. Now, some notable wagers that have already been placed on the game tonight. One out of $110,000 on the Cardinals versus Rams under 50.5. That's minus 110 odds. And also another $100,000 bet on the Cardinals versus Rams under 49.5, minus 110 as well. So some people are feeling pretty confident about the under in the Cardinals-Rams game tonight. So if you want to do that as well, if you feel confident about it as well, do it and do it with the Caesars Sportsbook app. Must be 21. Offer valid in Tennessee only. New users and first qualifying wager only. Paid in bet credit. Credit must be used within 7 days of receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesars Sportsbook. Download it, people.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jared Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. Have you ever cooked a really fine gourmet meal? Yeah, me neither. But I'm told it all comes down to the ingredients. And when I need ingredients to improve my car, the place I go is eBay Motors. Whether you roasted your last transmission, graded your current floor mats, or pureed your side view mirror on a lamppost, eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And by the way, if you recently fired up your grill, don't worry, eBay Motors has grills too. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
One of the smartest things you can do for the new year is convert some of your home's equity into cash. You can do it right now with a zero-cost cash-out refi from Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now. They can fast-track your home refi and get you a check for 50, 60, 70 grand or more. And if you call now, Loan Pronto can even pay your closing costs. Listen, your home value is way up. Use it to your advantage. Get cash out now. Pay off those credit card debts. Consolidate other debts. Start that home improvement project and get your finances in great shape for 2022. Loan Pronto's refis usually close in just 2 weeks, and the process is easy. It's all digital. Call Loan Pronto now. Put that equity in your home to work towards financial freedom for the new year. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Jackson Hewitt needs you to know 3 things about filing taxes this year. 1, there are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table. 2, you have to file for them to make sure you get the right amount. 3, a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will help track down every credit you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, going to school, and so much more. You don't want to miss out on thousands. Jackson Hewitt knows that. Discover thousands in tax credits and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Yeah, I mean, excellent football team. I think the rest is only, it's only going to be advantageous, and it's only going to help us if we've been able to take advantage of it and do things that can help us get healthy, maintain and improve conditioning, get rest. All those things that we hoped for, and then start our practice. We've been preparing obviously as coaches, and trying to be ready to go for when these guys come in the morning.
There you go. That was Vrabel talking about getting ready for Cincinnati, and I was a little surprised in Vrabel's press conference today. I thought we were going to just have wall-to-wall, Burrow, oh, God, Cincinnati. Oh, they're just so unstoppable. They're just so great. They're just incredible, and they're I thought we were going to have that. I was a little surprised.
We didn't get that at all.
No, Vrabel's like very monotone. Like, yeah, we got to get to work. And, you know, people were asking questions about what do you think changed this season? I'm like, dude, he's not going to talk about like big picture stuff.
It sounded like he was ready to be done pretty early on in the press conference.
Oh, you could tell once he started talking about how every week's different. Then I was like, okay, yeah, he's
done.
Yeah, he's done with this. But I can just sense the people that were saying, you know, oh, Jared, too cocky about playing the Bengals. Like, I don't know about you, but when I saw Titans Bengals, I was like, yes, right? Like, I thought the Raiders were going to win that game on Saturday. Now, the Raiders shot themselves in the foot. I thought Saturday's game, and we'll get into Saturday's game, but like I thought that it was really hard to judge because I thought the officiating in that game was so horrendous. It was hard for me to kind of go one way or another. But it's funny because people think that like I speak for the team. And I don't think I speak for the team. The team would tell you that I don't speak for the team. You all would tell me that I don't speak for the team. I do wonder, though, like these other teams, after watching the Tom Brady Man in the Arena docuseries, like if I was another city or if I was an NFL team, I would have somebody that's in charge of listening to the local radio of a team we're about to play. And then I would literally take like something that, you know, I said about, oh, Bengals, you know, they're this, they're that, whatever. And I'd, you know, say, hey, they think you guys suck. You know, like that's what I would do. Which is why if I was Vrabel, and I'm surprised he didn't do this, but I would be pumping those Cincinnati tires up. I'd be talking about Joe Burrow led the NFL in completion percentage this year, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. He led in yards per attempt. He was second in quarterback rating. Joe Mixon made the Pro Bowl, fourth in touchdowns. Jamar Chase made the Pro Bowl, fourth in reception yards. Third with 13 receiving touchdowns, second in yards per reception. They got all these great receivers. Trey Hendrickson made the Pro Bowl. He had 14 sacks this year. He was second in the NFL last year. He's fifth this year. That they force a bunch of fumbles. They lose Larry Ogunjobi or whatever. They lose him 7 sacks on the year, but they replace him with B.J. Hill. He had 5.5 sacks this year. So it's not like that's a big drop-off. I mean, that's really good. You know, they got guys in the back. They've redone that secondary with Eli Apple, who's played on every team, I think, in the NFL. They've got Chidobe Awuzie from the Cowboys, who was never any good for Dallas, but he's their best corner, and he had 2 interceptions this year. I mean, they're just, oh, man, and they just took the Titans to the cleaners last year, and, oh, my God, the Bengals. They are just great. Like, if I was a member of the Titans, that's all you would hear from me this week. And it reminds me of that Man in the Arena docuseries where Vrabel was talking about how they were always thinking in their heads about going back-to-back, 2003, 2004, about how that's all they talked about was going back-to-back. And then they showed Vrabel at Super Bowl Media Day in Jacksonville, and he's like, yeah, we don't really think about going back-to-back. We're just trying to think about this game.
And they say, you know, in press conferences, we're taking it one game at a time, one day at a time. You know, the most important game that we have is the next one up. And then behind the scenes, they're like, no, we're thinking about the Super Bowl. We don't care about this Week 5 matchup with some podunk opponent. We're thinking about going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I also don't think that the Titans are thinking about the Bills or the Chiefs right now. But I would say that if I was a member of the Titans, I'd spend all week just talking about how great the Bengals are. And you don't even need to necessarily do it, because everybody else is doing it for you. I watched Sunday Countdown yesterday, which was the only show that talked about Cincinnati, and I think the only show that's going to talk about Cincinnati or the Titans all week until Saturday morning. You will not. Today and tomorrow will be all Cowboy talk. Then you'll hear, once the NFC field is set tonight, you'll hear about, oh, you know, here's Tampa Bay taking on so-and-so. What do we think about Brady versus Stafford? And we got Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. And then, you know, Aaron will say something crazy about his future. So they'll spend all the time talking about that. Then there's the Bills and the Chiefs. So that's going to be all week. So Sunday Countdown yesterday did like 10 minutes where they all literally just took their pants off and talked about how much they loved Cincinnati. And if you're the Titans, all you have to do is just echo this sentiment all week. And Cincinnati is not going to feel like anybody's doubting them. Listen to Matthew Hasselbeck talk about what was the 13th ranked offense in the NFL this year.
I don't know if anything holds them back. I mean, maybe injury to one of the key guys. You saw Hendrickson go out last night with concussion.
Ogunjobi went down.
Yeah. Right, so we don't know the status going forward. board health-wise, but offensively, if you're talking about the skill group, you're talking about wide receiver, running back, tight end, and a star quarterback who fears nothing. These guys on offense are offensive. A lot of times offenses will sit back and say, what are you going to do defensively? Then I'll figure out what I'm going to do. That's not the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, my God, they're just so good. I mean, nothing can hold them back. When I heard that, I thought to myself, all right, Bengals at the Bills, who wins? Oh, Bills. Okay, all right. Nothing can hold them back. I don't know. Maybe their below-average defense can hold them back. You know, Peyton Manning, and I love Joe Burrow. Peyton Manning was better than Joe Burrow. At least, you know, his full career right now is better than Joe Burrow's, which is not totally fair. But, again, Peyton had like 18 seasons where he was great. Peyton Manning in Indianapolis won one Super Bowl. He went one other time. You don't think that offense was better? This offense was 13th in the NFL. They were 7th in points. You don't think Peyton's offense in Indianapolis that had a competent offensive line with Jeff Saturday at center, that had a Hall of Fame running back Edgerrin James, that had a Hall of Fame wide receiver Marvin Harrison, that had a will make the Hall of Fame wide receiver in Reggie Wayne, you don't think that offense was better?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the most fair comparison, because just because Joe Burrow isn't as good as Peyton Manning and this offense isn't as good as the Colts offense was back then, that doesn't necessarily mean that this Bengals team isn't good.
No, but
this Bengals offense can't win.
But I'm talking about what Matt Hasselbeck said. Like, and if I was pumping up the Bengals, which is what I would do if I was a coach, Coach Jared, I would be pumping up Cincinnati. Just they're unbelievable, this team. They're 5-2 on the road. If you take out the Cleveland game this year, which they didn't play Joe Burrow, and they had already won the division, and so 5-2. So they're 5-3, but they're 5-2. I could talk about that all day. They're 5-2 on the road. You want to sit here, Titans, 5-2 at home this year, 6-2 at home or whatever. About the same, right? Oh, no, the best team they beat on the road this year was the Raiders. The Raiders and the Steelers. Easily the only two playoff teams they beat on the road. So you can make it the argument however you want. I'm just talking about the Hasselbeck clip where he's sitting there like, I don't think anything could stop this offense. I'm like, you played in the NFL when people stopped Peyton Manning from going to the Super Bowl. Like, that's what good defense stops good offense.
And plays along to that narrative of the fact that watching a good offense is really fun.
Sells tickets.
And it's sexy. It's fun to watch a high-powered offense and a quarterback that can throw it 40 yards down the field.
Also,
but
for this great high-powered offense that we keep talking about with Cincinnati, that again was 13th in total offense and 7th in total points, how many points they score against the Raiders?
30-something?
I don't think they scored 30.
Did they not? I don't know the score off the top of my head.
I mean, like that. I saw how many points Buffalo scored.
A lot.
And I saw
every time the ball was in their hands, they scored.
Kansas City ran out of fireworks. I mean, like, we need to. The national narrative is going to just pump the Bengals up, or at least, now they're going to stop talking about them. But if I were the Titans, oh my God, I'd spend all week just, See, this is what I would say in the meeting rooms if I was the coach. And I don't know if Vrabel's taking this approach, because he's not taking the approach, what I'm saying, outside of the meeting rooms, which would be just to get on your knees and talk about how much you love Joe Burrow and how he's the greatest guy, and the Bengals offense is unstoppable. And even though they gave up an NFL league-high 51 sacks this year, how they are just incredible. Everything that Matthew Hasselbeck just said right there. Mm-hmm. That's what if I were in the meeting rooms, I'd be telling the guys, like, you can beat this team. Like, this team, everybody's telling them how great they are. And they're good. Make no mistake about it. Take it seriously. But, like, you can beat these guys. Mm-hmm. Because that's how I look at Cincinnati. I look at it like, yeah, Cincinnati's a good team. Everybody who's playing right now is a good team. The worst team that's playing right now, San Francisco probably, and you barely beat them at home on a Thursday. So everybody's good. But I'd be walking around saying, yeah, I mean, look, I get it. Everybody loves all these points they're putting up. Everybody loves, Jamar Chase. And
the narratives are very fun.
you can beat this team. That's what I'd be saying inside the locker room. Outside the locker room, I'd be just, oh, my God, they're just so great. 615-737-1025. Let's get to your thoughts on the Bengals. We'll do that coming up next. 615-737-1025. Plus, the one thing I will tell you about Cincinnati, that there was something about Cincinnati that I was floored about. It's the one thing about them that I will say and unequivocally put my hands in the air and say, look, yes. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. By the way, they are a big part of our playoff coverage this year. I'm really glad of that because I'm glad anytime we get Hiller in the mix with anything, because anytime you use Hiller, they are fantastic. They took great care of my home, and I promise you, they can do the exact same for you, and they will do the exact same for you. And again, I know this because I use Hiller at my home and have been using them at my home for 4 years. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. To help customers tackle necessary replacements, my friends at Hiller are extending their lower 2021 pricing through the end of January. So this is the lowest pricing that is expected all year. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, generators are all going to be extremely limited this year. And because of supply issues and rising costs for parts, you know what I'm talking about, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. If you need a replacement, call Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller is always backed by the Happy You'll Be or the Service is Free guarantee, and you can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of our playoff coverage, the Predators, the Tennessee Volunteers, and Vanderbilt. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Every day at Cromwell Media, we want to help make a difference. And over the holiday season, you made a difference with your contributions to Souls for Music City. Thank you for helping hundreds of kids in the Nashville area who experience homelessness get a new pair of shoes to start off 2022. We'd also like to thank Newton Motor Group and Souls for Souls from all of us at Cromwell Media and Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 models are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery today. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Yes, you heard right. No money down and no interest for a year. It's all easy at Social Furniture. All furniture at Social is top quality, solid woods and designer fabrics. Buy local. Support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. The final night of Wild Card Weekend just got wilder, and FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new customers with 30-1 odds. That means you can win $150 on a $5 bet on tonight's final Wild Card game. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with the Rams, but I think it's a really tough pick. Just sign up with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Make a deposit to claim your 31 enhanced odds. Already a FanDuel Sportsbook customer? Great. They're hooking up all customers with $50 when you refer a friend, and your friend will get $50 too. Don't miss your chance to win $150 on a $5 bet. Sign up using the promo code JGM. Again, that's promo code JGM. 21 and older in President, Tennessee. New users only $10 first deposit required. Must wager on a designated offer market max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users filled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa Toyos from Toyos Clinic, hair restoration specialist. I've worked in the field of hair restoration for over 20 years and recently authored the book Hair Science. We have solutions to restore your hair like PRP, topical and oral medication, and now the latest technology, SmartGraft FUE. No visible scar, quick recovery time, restoring your natural hair that will never fall out. You can't control losing your hair, but you can control getting it back. Toyos Clinic, call us today. See better, look better.
Yo, this is Justin from Music City Vintage, here to provide you with all your vintage apparel and shoe needs. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide you all with an exclusive discount today. Come to our shop today, located in East Nashville at 2503 Gallatin Avenue, and say The Game at checkout and get 10% off your entire order. If you're unable to make it in, we got something for you as well. All of our products in store are also available on our website at musiccityvtg.com. Just use promo code GAME at checkout and get 10% off your order.
Attention, Nice List recipients. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here.
Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's two-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rentalworks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It is about one man. It's about the quarterback. And this is, to me, that you want to see the next Tom Brady, you're looking at him right here. Look at him. Now, the only thing, he's wearing those glasses. I don't think Tom would have worn those. But this is Joe Cool. And anybody, you know what? It's not too big for him. The Bengals haven't been there. This kid has. He won a national championship, won the Heisman Trophy, a great draft pick from them for a local kid. He could care less who he plays. And to me, that's Tom Brady. I've seen it for years. And get ready, guys. You're going to see it for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah. There you go. That was Rex Ryan talking about, boy, the next Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. Maybe a little too strong for me there.
It's a little early to say that.
But I'm going to say this.
He hasn't even played a full season in the NFL.
I'm going to say this about the Bengals. Because, again, I think this is a great matchup. This is exactly the kind of team that you want to play coming into the season. This is the kind of team you want to play in the Final Eight. This is the team you want to play at home in the Divisional Round. The one thing is that Joe Burrow is that dude. Like, Joe Burrow is a bad boy. Like, that's the one thing that, everybody gets. What about these receivers, Jared? What are they going to do? And I was like, did you not see them play the Chiefs earlier this year? The Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And no offense, because these Bengals receivers are awesome. But, I mean, I'd rather have Kansas City's collection with, like, the four guys and Kelce. Now, this is McKinnon at running back. This may be a whole nother story. But I'd rather have Kansas City's collection than have Cincinnati's collection.
Why?
Because Kansas City literally has all pros.
Yeah.
Like, they have all pros. I don't think Cincinnati, and I love Jamar Chase, they don't have a single guy as good as Travis Kelce, like as impactful in a game as Travis Kelce.
If you were to ask me who do you want to invest in for the next 5 to 10 years, I would say the Cincinnati wide receiver core. Who am I taking this year in the playoffs? Which receiving core do I want? Kansas City.
I mean, Cincinnati went for it on a fourth down because they didn't want to give the ball back to Kansas City on the road. Like, that's how little faith they had in their defense was in that game a couple weeks ago. They did not want to give the ball back to Mahomes with any time.
Well, why would you?
Right, but it almost, if they didn't get that flag, in the end zone, which, Kansas City fans thought was a bad flag, and everybody's going to think it's whatever. I mean, Dallas fans are upset about something today. They don't even know the rules. And Tony Romo told them the rules during the broadcast, and they don't know the rules, so I don't, whatever. But they got Mixon's good. The receivers are good. They're good. But Joe's the team. Like, Joe is the team. This coach, I heard Colin Cowherd, he's a great young coach. Were you saying that 2 years ago? This great young coach, by the way, has got his star franchise quarterback sacked 51 times. That's an NFL high. It also should be noted Joe Burrow is coming off of a devastating knee injury. If there was something that you wanted to do, it would be to protect him a little bit, right?
You'd think.
Especially against the Titans. Their defense, again, they paid a lot of money for Trey Hendrickson. He's really good. Now, is he going to play? I don't know. They got some good pieces. This DJ Reader, who's a defensive tackle that they have, Vrabel loves him. He was Vrabel's nose tackle at the Texans, and Vrabel loves him. And he's not a stat guy, but he is a space eater, run, stop. Vrabel loves him. But all these guys have played in the NFL for a long time. Eli Apple's been on like 6 teams in 5 years. Chidobe Awuzie was on Dallas for years. Jesse Bates, the safety's pretty good. But Reeder was with the Texans. These guys are all, it's a fine, it's a below average defense. So Joe is carrying the entire team with his receivers to the finish line. And that will only get you so far. Think about Joe's defense in college. How many guys on the LSU team went in the first or second round?
Like 3 or 4.
Like literally, Kaylavon Chason did, Grant Delpit did,
Patrick Queen,
Christian Fulton did. Like that
he didn't
entire
go in the first round, but
I said first or second.
Yes, first or second,
which is the same as Delpit.
Yes,
all these guys went the first, second round. That's why that team was incredible. Joe carried that coach. We know that. We know what happened to the coach as soon as Joe left. Terrible. What happened to Joe Brady without Joe Burrow? Terrible. Joe has spent his entire career carrying, for at least the last 4 years, carrying everybody around him for the most part. And that's what he's doing with the Bengals. So when I talk about Cincinnati and I look at him and I say, hey, below average defense, coach really hasn't been there, done that yet, not an established type guy. Reality is, it's him. It's a horrible offensive line. But it's Joe. Joe's a bad dude. And that, you will not hear me change my tone on Joe Burrow all week. If there's one reason you're going to lose, it's Joe Burrow. Now, everybody will say, well, can the DBs stop the receiver? I don't care about that. I will not care about that all week.
Because the short answer is no.
They won't stop them. They won't stop the Bills. They won't stop the Chiefs.
No.
What's the key to the Titans' defense?
The pass rush.
The defensive line. What's the weakness of the Bengals? The offensive line. What's the game? That. So that and Ryan Tannehill not turning the football over. That's what it's about. 615-737-1025. Reaction Mondays powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus, PHOCUS.com. What do we have in our text line, which is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Shane texts in and says, I do like the matchup against Cincinnati, and I agree when you say if you can play defense, then you can win, and I think we've got a pretty good one.
So I was thinking about this when the Titans were on the verge of getting the number 1 seed, because it looked like all of those teams that were going to be in the top 4 that are now the top 4, it looked like that's who it was going to be. And I was stunned when I found out Joe Burrow didn't make the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. Stunned Josh Allen not in the Pro Bowl. I figured that the 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks out of the AFC were Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen, because I think they're the 3 best quarterbacks in the AFC. So I was surprised by that. But the reason I say this is because in 2003, the Patriots were the number 1 seed in the AFC. And Brady, they were not what we think of as the Patriots. Now they had won a lot of games and they ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, their second one. But it wasn't like they were, the Patriots at that point. And so they went into that. The Patriots had the 17th ranked offense. The number 2 seed Kansas City had the 2nd ranked offense. The number 3 seed Indianapolis had the 3rd ranked offense. And the 4th seed Tennessee had the 8th ranked offense. By the way, Kansas City, Trent Green, Indianapolis, Peyton Manning, Tennessee, Steve McNair had the 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. McNair and Manning split the MVP. And yet in the playoffs, where Indianapolis scored 41 points in their first game and 38 points in their second game, they scored 14 in the AFC Championship game. In the divisional round at New England, the Titans scored 14. So that's my always thought about defense. At the end of the day, would you rather have a high-flying, can't-stop-them offensive team or a shut-them-down defensive team? And I know what the fans want.
It's fun to watch an offense.
But in reality, Trent Dilfer has as many Super Bowls doing it that way as Patrick Mahomes has doing it his way, as Aaron Rodgers has doing it his way, as Kurt Warner had greatest show on turf doing it that way. Peyton won 2 Super Bowls. Peyton won 1 in Indianapolis doing it that way. He won the 2nd one in Denver because Von Miller was unbelievable, and that was an incredible defense. What else we got in the text line?
Another texter checks in and asks, in King we trust, but what do we think we'll see from him in the playoffs?
There is no way for me to tell you that. I have no idea. We'll spend all week hearing what they say about Derrick Henry. Nobody in Vrabel's press conference, this is how well-trained Vrabel has the local media. Nobody in Vrabel's press conference asked him about Derrick Henry this week.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Wolfe, who works now for the NFL Network, used to be TD before TD. Cameron Wolfe tweeted out, so my guess is Vrabel had to talk to the NFL Network afterwards.
Right.
Said, yeah, they haven't made a determination on Henry. They'll see where he's at, whatever. But, they asked about Henry, and Vrabel very noncommittal there either. Derrick's going to play. They're going to treat Derrick like he's Derrick. I don't know what you're going to get out of him. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get back to your phones, your reactions, 615-737-1025. I do have a playoff thought that I want to get to from the weekend as well. 615-737-1025. Stillman & Company, we are delivered by TriStar Moving right here on ESPN 1025 The Game. And let me tell all the fine folks out there that when the Preds have a weekday game this season, it's your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. If you guess a Preds player that scores a goal in the game that night, you will win a pair of tickets to a future Preds home game. Your next chance to participate tomorrow morning at 8:45. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies will give way to a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, but those winds out of the northwest will continue to keep us cool. High temperature, only 38 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Blood Assurance is the only nonprofit blood centers in Middle Tennessee where 100% of your blood donations go to help save lives for people right here in our community. Blood Assurance is proud to announce the opening of its newest location at the Oakwood Commons Shopping Center at 4686 Lebanon Pike in Hermitage. Find it in your heart to donate today. Go to bloodassurance.org/schedule for information.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
When Nashville is in need for tire sales or service for their business, the Tire Man has been there for over 20 years to help. The Tire Man repairs new and used tires for construction equipment, dump trucks, 18-wheelers, box trucks, fleets, plus they sell new tires for vehicles of all sizes. When your company needs tires, call the Tire Man, 615-663-6040, where they come to you, fully licensed and insured, and they can't wait to work with you. That's the Tire Man at 615-663-6040.
Hey everybody, Robbie Stanley here to tell you about my friends at Jasper's. Jasper's is a casual restaurant and bar located on West End Avenue, equipped with TVs, a game room available for private events, a grab-and-go market, and free parking. Yes, free parking. This neighborhood spot is Nashville's new go-to restaurant and bar. You can try their selection of elevated bar food ranging from appetizers to chicken sandwiches to flatbread pizzas and the famous Smash Burger, as well as any of their delicious cocktails. So visit my friends at Jasper's, located at 1918 West End Avenue, and tell them that Robbie sent you.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Hiller is extending their lower 2021 pricing through the end of January. This is the lowest pricing expected all year. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. So HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited this year. And because of supply issues and rising costs of parts, manufacturers are rapidly increasing the price of this equipment. So if you need a replacement, call Hiller today. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or the service's free guarantee. Learn more at happyhiller.com.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game in the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company here on a Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. DrinkFocus.com. So we will be spending all week on the Titans and the Bengals. And by the way, this is the most anticipation I've felt for a playoff game in this town probably since like 2002, 2003.
That's crazy.
2003. Yeah.
What's different about this year?
So like the end of the Jeff Fisher years, they just had no like on offense they sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kerry Collins, Vince Young, like they sucked. So forget about that. The Malarkey year, everybody hated the coach. Like, it was unbelievable. Me and Floyd were the only two people on the planet who liked the coach. Everybody else hated the coach. They wanted him fired. They wanted to get rid of him, whatever. And they won a playoff game. And it was like everybody spent all week talking about the Titans could beat the Patriots. And I held it back all week that I was going to pick the Patriots to blow them out. 2 times that I've literally hidden it all week that I thought the Titans were going to get blown out. Patriots that year, Chiefs AFC Championship game. I didn't want to do it on Monday and then have it be a whole thing the whole week about Jared thinks they're going to get blown out by the Patriots. Oh, yeah, Jared, you don't believe in us. And I just, so I just waited till Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But they, whatever. That team could not compete. And that they won a playoff game was a minor miracle, and they still fired the coach. So, whatever. They ducked in the last day of the year, the 2019 season, and, it was fun. I also think, too, something that kind of took away from it was this year's been pushed back a week with the extra game. So that Patriot week was like that week of New Year's and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like how many people are at work and they got so much stuff going on and
That's
they're not back to normal life. The Ravens game, people were pretty fired up. The AFC Championship game, people were pretty fired up. But I don't think they were as fired up as they are now. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I do want to get onto this, though. We'll get back to your Bengals Texan calls in just a second. So the NFL 2 years ago, basically the collective bargaining agreement got done, COVID happened, and they got it in right before COVID. And part of the deal that the owners really wanted was the 17th game, but more importantly, the 7th playoff seed. Why did they want the 7th playoff seeds? Because it gave them 2 extra playoff games. What did they do with that playoff game? Everybody was wondering yesterday, and Troy Aikman was complaining about it. Why did CBS have the NFC game of San Francisco and the Cowboys? And it's because CBS paid $70 million extra to have the 3:30 Sunday spot on Super Wildcard Weekend. $70 million for one game.
$70 million more.
That's more than $2 million a club.
Jeez.
So that's why they did it. I get it. I understand it. I watched all the games this weekend. I'm going to watch a game tonight. These 7 seeds suck. I mean, last night, the Steeler game was awful.
It was a snooze fest.
If you give up a touchdown to Buffalo early, Kansas City, good luck to you on Sunday. But that Steeler team, they were awful. They did not belong in the playoffs, which highlights for you how bad Indianapolis choked this year that they didn't get in and that crap Steeler team got in. And then I'm watching the Eagles yesterday, and I kind of hate it. This is the only place where I kind of like the 7 seed is that Tampa Bay had injuries on the offensive line yesterday, big injuries to the line. And I'm like, okay, now that really differentiates the difference between being number 1 and being number 2. The situation that Tampa Bay finds themselves in, whereas Green Bay didn't lose anybody yesterday. But I didn't need to watch that game. Jalen Hurts, that team is terrible. That Eagles team is terrible. And so what we've done, last year, Mitch Trubisky and the Chicago Bears were the 7th seed. We don't need the 7th seed. This is what's going to happen in the college football playoff when we get 53-0 games in the first round. We don't need it. We do not need. I'm fine.
It already
with it.
kind of exists with just 4 teams.
It exists with 4. Like the average margin of victory, I think in the college football playoff is like 19 or 22 points, or it's something ridiculous.
See, when you're playing the top 4 best teams in the country, that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't get blown out when you're, say, the 4th best team in the country, but that's just how it works.
We do not need, I'm trying to be nice here, we do not need all these teams in the playoffs.
And those games had completely different feels to them. From the very first down, those games had such different feels to them. Now that Patriots-Bills game, now that was fun. That was exciting. The 49ers game yesterday, that was fun. That was exciting.
That's the worst coach and worst quarterback game by 4 people. Because everybody's making it out about McCarthy and Dak. But, I mean, Shanahan and Jimmy did their, it
wasn't a pretty game.
They're guilty, too.
But, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, I had a tough time watching it all the way through just because I knew from the very beginning.
I think part of it is that they
how it was going to go.
I think part of it is that they don't belong in the playoffs to begin with, like the Steelers. Mm-hmm. But you're also putting them up against the second-best team.
Exactly.
It's like...
And that's how the playoffs work.
Like when we add games in the NCAA tournament, we add 16s playing each other to then turn around and play the one. If we added another 16 versus 1 in the NCAA tournament, whoop-de-freaking-do. No thanks. Oh, God, it's awful. These games are awful. That game last year, the Bears and Saints, that game was terrible. And this game was terrible with the Steelers, and this game was terrible with the Eagles. Now, the Colts and Bills played a good game last year, so we've had 4 games. The Bengals. What about their performance Saturday? I can guarantee you most of you out there have not sat down and watched a Bengals game this year. And if you have watched a Bengals game this year before the game Saturday, it was probably that Thursday nighter against Jacksonville.
Which was gross.
Which was awful. So now that we watched the Bengals, were we impressed by the game? I've got some thoughts on it. I know you got some thoughts on it. We'll get your thoughts on it next. Stillman and Company, Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus Naturally Caffeinated Sparkling Water with a spark. DrinkFocus.com.
The voice of reason.
If I'm the official, I would send both teams to the locker room and say, this is going to stop.
The voice of the fan.
Our entire team's a mash unit right now.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Mow, dig, haul, lift. The versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor does it all. Easy to switch attachments, a smooth hydrostatic transmission. The BX Series is part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman and Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
It's playoff time, and Boom Ba's Craft Pizza and Tap House invites you to join them for this year's action. Boom Ba's has countless big screen TVs and a humongous video wall to catch all the wildcard games. Enjoy their 2-time award-winning Best Pizza in America, featured on the Food Network and 100% crafted for you. Wash it all down with their award-winning happy hour with $2 Boom Brews and select domestic pints. Boom Ba's Craft Pizza and Tap House with locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville. Pizza, beer, sports. See you there.
Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe and BetMGM. I love BetMGM. They welcome you with a special offer on the Pro Football Playoffs. All you have to do is place a $10 moneyline wager on any game. If either team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. All you have to do is use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. Enjoy the playoffs like never before and earn M-Life rewards that you can use for rooms and dining at any MGM resort nationwide. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if a touchdown is scored in a pro football playoff game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Attention Nice List recipients. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here. Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's two-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Hillside Medical Game Studios, Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark drink, Focus.com. So the Bengals beat the Raiders 26-19 on Saturday. I watched the whole game, and I thought whoever won that game, the Titans were going to play. Now, it wasn't like an overly exciting game. I mean, it was it was fine. Like, it was a competitive game that went right down to the wire and a play at the end. But neither of the two teams are all that drama-filled or exciting, like, say, the Cowboys yesterday.
Oh, drama.
Everybody has feelings about the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was thinking about this. They are the most popular team in America. I'm also convinced the Cowboys are the least or most hated team in America, too.
Probably fair.
So everybody has feelings watching the Cowboys. Patriots, people have feelings towards them. Kansas City and Big Ben. And okay, so this game, which is why it was the early game on Saturday, didn't have like a lot of juice to it. So when you have a playoff game like that kicks off Wild Card Weekend, and trust me, I would know, the Titans have kicked off Wild Card Weekend many a times. That game, everybody cares about that game while it's going on, and then they forget about it as soon as it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was watching it thinking, okay, the Titans are going to play the winner of this game, I watched it very intently. Now, I watched a lot of, but not the whole game, because the Titans are playing at the same time against Miami. Mm-hmm. But I watched a lot of the game against Kansas City and Cincinnati. So I will just ask you this. Were you impressed by Cincinnati on Saturday against the Raiders, unless you've watched more Cincinnati games? I will be honest, I have not watched, other than that Kansas City game, parts of it, I have not watched a lot of Cincinnati this year, and the last thing I want to do is talk to somebody who's going to call in who's like, well, I'm a Bengals fan and I watch every game, because most of those people aren't really objective. So I'm just going off of what I've seen. Were you impressed with the Bengals on Saturday?
And to be completely fair, I think the only Bengals game that I've watched.
The who?
Bengals.
The Bengals?
The Bengals game that I've watched all the way through is that Jacksonville game. the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
And it was a gross game that came down to a
they stunk it up that game.
It was a gross game. So if I'm going to compare it to that game, then yeah, they played out of their minds. But if I'm going to look at it through the lens of this is the Titans' next opponent, like, yeah, I do think that Joe Burrow is that dude. And I do think that connection between him and Jamar Chase is something that is incredibly dangerous. But the Raiders were in that game the entire game through. I mean, it came down to an interception in the fourth quarter, and that wasn't necessarily in the tally in the Bengals corner. It was really just a bad throw, bad decision making by Derek Carr. So it wasn't the most impressive game that I've ever seen. Now, am I going to go into this week thinking, yep, Titans going to kick my feet up, this is going to be an easy win? No, not necessarily.
Would you have felt that way if the Steelers had beaten the Chiefs?
Would I have felt that way about the Steelers?
Yeah.
Maybe so. But if the Steelers had beaten the Chiefs, then they probably would have had to play their butts off.
Yeah.
And do I think they could have played their butts off 2 weeks in a row? Probably not.
Right.
I would have felt much better about playing the Steelers this week. I mean, the Bengals are a good team. I think the Titans have more talent, and the Titans absolutely can beat this team. But the Bengals they're a solid team. But the Raiders were very much so in that game. All 4 quarters.
I have a couple thoughts about this. Like, I picked the Raiders to win. But after watching that game for a little bit, I wanted the Raiders to win because I thought the Raiders were clearly not as good as the Bengals.
Right.
And yet it was a ball game.
It was a ball game.
Like, it was a ball game. And the second Trey Hendrickson went out, like, I was listening to the very beginning of it in the car because I was at the radio studio for a little bit, and then I was back, on my way here. And so I was listening, and I was listening to Mike Golick, who was calling the game. And Mike Golick was going nuts about the fact that the Raiders left a tight end in Foster Moreau to try to block Trey Hendrickson, who's 5th in the NFL in sacks with 14 and was 2nd last year with 13.5. And Mike Golick was just losing his mind about how stupid that was of the Raiders.
It was so stupid.
I felt like the Raiders did like 9 stupid things over the course of the game. And I really watched the Raiders, and I'm like, man, they kind of suck. Like Derek Carr is better than every non-starting quarterback in the NFL.
Darren Waller is a dude.
But even in the game, like, did he make that much of a difference?
I don't think
Derek Carr threw it 54 times and had 300 yards. Woo. Like, I thought the Raiders, I'm like, man, they suck. Like, the Raiders get inside the red zone and they have to bring Marcus in because they can't score in the red zone. And they've got dudes that should be able to score.
Right.
Like, Renfro should be able to get open in the red zone. Waller should be able to get open in the end zone. Josh Jacobs should be able to help you in the red zone. And they don't have any of that. Deshaun Jackson dropped a touchdown. Where they ended up kicking a field goal right before halftime. And it's one of those in cuts and then he outs. And Carr puts it right on his hands, and he turns to try to cut it up, and he just drops the ball. And all Deshaun Jackson has to do is catch it, cut it up. He's going into the end zone for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know everybody's going to make a big deal about the blown play where they blew the whistle, which was egregious. But, I'm not sure how much it affected the play itself. Not to say that shouldn't be – the rules are the rules, and the rules should be followed. But like the first 10 minutes of the game, when the Bengals got up 10-0, long drive touchdown, sack, fumble recovery, field goal, 10-0. Like the Bengals had all the energy, and you could feel the home crowd, and you could feel the excitement, and the Raiders were puckering up, and you could feel it. After that, it felt like a very even game. And it didn't feel like anybody did anything special the entire game. And the other thing that I thought watching this game is everybody told me, hey, Cincinnati's got great run defense, 5th in the league in rushing defense, 5th in the league, great rush defense. And once the Raiders decided they were going to run the ball, Josh Jacobs was creasing them 30 yards here, 15 yards there. Oh, we got down to the 17. Let's start throwing it again. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, if that's Derrick Henry and not Josh Jacobs, I mean, I think he's
going to the house.
Just takes them. And so I'm not. And that you got to factor all that in, the fact that they were at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to be on the road in this game. And I think there's going to be a significant Titans home field advantage of fans. And I'm sorry. Like, I was not impressed with Cincinnati. Now, they were hardly the worst thing in the game. I thought that Jerome Boger's officiating was terrible. I thought Drew Brees' commentating was terrible. I thought the Raiders as a team, especially in the red zone, I thought they were terrible. I'm not, Bisaccia, I think he probably has earned the job for keeping the team together, but they did a lot of boneheaded stuff in that game. I mean, it's like, were you impressed with San Francisco yesterday? Because I absolutely was not impressed with San Francisco.
Not really. No. I mean, there were so many idiotic mistakes and so many idiotic calls in that game yesterday that I was like, who in the world is running things on both sides?
So is it wrong to not be impressed with Cincinnati on Saturday?
I don't think it's wrong, no, because I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of the Bengals-Raiders game, and that there was nothing Bengals, Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Raiders game.
Good call.
There was nothing that made my jaw drop, really. I mean, there were a few deep passes, and there's a Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase 41-yard pass. There was nothing that really made me go, oh my gosh, did you see that? Good or bad? I mean, in the 49ers-Cowboys game, there were plenty of things that I was like, did you see that, how bad that was? But there was really nothing special about the Cincinnati game.
So this goes back to my original take when Cincinnati beat Kansas City, and I said the next day at 2 o'clock, if Ryan Tannehill doesn't turn the ball over, the Titans are probably going to go to the Super Bowl. Now, we can discuss, Kansas City and Buffalo, at some point. We can get as deep into that as you all would like to get. But the Raiders made the Bengals go down the field twice. All the way down the field twice. Opening drive, which is scripted, and being down 7-0's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. And then the drive right before the half where Burrow, didn't step out, but they blew the whistle and he threw the touchdown. Everything else was either a short field or they had to kick a field goal. Well, the Raiders were 26th in defensive points allowed and 29th in forcing turnovers. Forcing turnovers is a big stat, come playoff time. So the Raiders' defense kind of stunk. And they made them drive all the way down the field twice. Like, I think the Titans are going to score 14 points on Cincinnati. So if you just don't give them a short field, they're going to have to go all the way down the field, all the way down the field, all the way down the field. And your defense is night and day better than the Raiders. And I'm not saying that, some of those plays weren't good plays, but like everybody hypes up Mixon. And they talk about how great Joe Mixon is. I thought he's fine.
He's second in the league in rushing yards.
I thought he was fine. Like, I thought he was fine on Saturday.
In one game. I mean,
I'm not talking about the season. I didn't watch Joe Mixon this season. I don't know. So all I'm saying is, are we impressed with Saturday? Like, it's
not
like
overly so. No.
It's like everybody talks about the receivers, Boyd, Higgins, and Chase, because those guys are the amount of football that I have watched Kansas City play this year. Cincinnati play this year, which is not a lot, for granted. But I think the bigger threat, like the guy who I really just, could get up my rear end if he doesn't take over a game, but makes enough big plays that can screw you up, is Uzomah, the tight end. Now, like, obviously Chase. Chase is number one. But I didn't see T. Higgins make a bunch of plays in the limited Cincinnati football that I watched this year. I did see Uzomah on a bunch of third downs and red zones, and I thought he made a couple big catches the other night. I'm just asking, were you impressed with Cincinnati? When you think about the playoffs, were you impressed with Cincinnati?
Not overly so, no.
Like, I would say not impressed with Cincinnati, not impressed with San Francisco, and only so impressed with Tampa. And that's because Tampa's game was just so bleh.
I don't know how much I can take away from that game, including the injuries and also that you have to factor in their opponent.
I mean, I thought that was
they were like,
more
let's
of a
go
beatdown.
in, win, and then we'll, dust our hands off and be ready for the next week.
I thought that was more of a beatdown than Buffalo's beatdown of New England, because Buffalo's beatdown of New England was literally Buffalo playing out of their minds. Buffalo's not that good. Now, Buffalo's good. I mean, I was the one on Friday telling you that I think Buffalo's better than Kansas City. And I still do think Buffalo's better than Kansas City. But that was literally Buffalo had this pent-up rage of everybody tells us we can't beat Belichick. Everybody tells us Josh can't throw in the cold. We're going to show them. We're going to stick it to them. And they did. Like, that was, they played their best game, their most motivated game. They were all in, like, everything with that. Tampa was just going through the motions and we're up 31-0. So it's like, that means that you suck more than you suck more than New England, because at least New England got Buffalo's best shot. Philly just got Tampa showing up on Sunday and got housed.
But I think we knew that going into this weekend. We knew that New England was a better team than Philly.
So I guess I was, give the Bengals a grade for what you saw on Saturday.
I would say like a C+, B-.
Yeah, that's about right.
Average, good, passing grade. You don't get a gold star.
That's about right. 615-737-1025. That's the question. Did you watch the game Saturday and think to yourself, oh boy, this could be trouble for the Titans? Or did you watch it and think, what'd you think? 615-737-1025. I've already had multiple texts into the text line about this. We will discuss Jerome Boger. We will discuss two things. Jerome Boger and like the sub-story of Jerome Boger that we will get to, and we will do that next. Stillman and Company right here. It is Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. We are delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and Company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
The Lowe's Just for Pros event is back. Get savings on the top tools, plus bonus perks to help with your business. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Valid 117 to 128 U.S. only.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Start by attending our free boot camps on January 31st and March 21st. Remember, don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Your home value is way up. Why not use that equity to make your house even nicer for the new year? Hey, Willie Donick here talking about a cash-out refi with Loan Pronto. So call Loan Pronto now. They're fast-tracking home refis for the new year, and people are getting checks for $60, $70, $100 grand or more. And right now, Loan Pronto can even cover all your closing costs. Listen, your home's value is way up. All you have to do is convert that equity into cash. Cash for a new luxurious kitchen or a new home office, or start that swimming pool so you can use it for the summer. Call Loan Pronto now. You can even close in as little as 2 weeks with a big check. Do it now and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So make 2022 the year you fix up your home and reinvest with Loan Pronto's help. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
When Nashville is in need for tire sales or service for their business, the Tire Man has been there for over 20 years to help. The Tire Man repairs new and used tires for construction equipment, dump trucks, 18-wheelers, box trucks, fleets, plus they sell new tires for vehicles of all sizes. When your company needs tires, call the Tire Man, 615-663-6040, where they come to you, fully licensed and insured, and they can't wait to work with you. That's the Tire Man at 615-663-6040.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
5 in the pattern, Burrow. Tries to keep it alive, scrambles. Throws it back to the end zone, but was he out of bounds first or is it a touchdown? I think he was out of bounds. They're discussing it. Caught in the back by Boyd. Conversation on the sideline here for the moment. No signal yet. Jerome Boger, the referees, over here on the sideline. As they are in conversation, was he out when he threw?
The result of the play, touchdown.
Touchdown! And it certainly will get closer inspection. And Tyler Boyd goes up to celebrate in any case. Let's see. Yep, that's fine.
There you go. That was the sound, the whistle heard around the world, where Jerome Boger's crew just screwed it up in the most epically fashionable Jerome Boger way possible. Now, here's my question that I haven't heard anybody address, because here's what happened. Boger was terrible on Saturday, middle of the day. Mm-hmm. Everybody complained about Boger, like everybody complains about Boger, just like we talked about when the Titans beat the Saints because of Boger. If nothing else, at least he's fair. He might screw you over, but he also might screw the other team over. So at least he's fair. You know, I mean, he screwed the Titans over against the Saints a couple years ago, and he screwed the Saints over against the Titans this year. Saints missed the playoffs. Saints are in the playoffs if Jerome Boger doesn't screw up that game. This has been happening for years. So Boger's doing a playoff game, and like he always does, he's screwing it up, which he always does. But so then the refs come together, and you heard Tirico right there addressing the play. Now, I felt bad for Drew Brees because I thought he was horrible on Saturday, and this was an instance of him being really bad. It's like when I think a radio host is horrible, it's because I don't think they're driving topics, or I don't think they're picking the right topics. It's not because I don't like their take. Whereas a lot of you say, I hate that guy, he's terrible, and it's just because you just don't like what they have to say. When I'm listening to a broadcaster, I am listening it, and so Drew Brees is just dead silent there. He doesn't have the experience to be doing this game. You need somebody with more experience that would literally be saying, where's the whistle? I heard the whistle and know the rules for you. It's his job. And so they come together and they talk. Well, somebody blew the whistle, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they admitted to it afterwards that there was an inadvertent whistle. But the refs ruled on the field that there was no whistle, except for the problem that there was a whistle. Like at that point in time, because a whistle's not a judgment call. It either happens or it doesn't. The Raiders could have played that game under protest and probably would have won, which is wild because the game was not properly adjudicated. That's not my biggest problem with Boger. I thought that was a touchdown. I thought the touchdown would have happened even if they hadn't blown the whistle, whatever. I mean, it's embarrassing. It never should have happened. It's awful. My bigger problem is they throw the most flags and the most phantom flags I've ever seen in an NFL game from a crew. And this was no different. And I know this is an all-star crew, but the white hat gets blamed for everything. And this just happens to be Boger again, more flags, more bullcrap. The Titans in 2018, when Matt LaFleur stashed Derrick Henry on the bench, Derrick Henry, they were playing the Dolphins in the first game of the year. It went 8 hours, and there were like 2 lightning storms in the middle of a game. And the Titans are trying to come back in this game at Miami, and Derrick Henry breaks off like a 69-yard run for a touchdown. Now, this is before Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Boger, holding offense. They show the replay, and Delaney Walker barely touches the guy. But that's Boger. Just like the roughing the passer on Tannehill after his interception in the end zone, that clearly wasn't roughing the passer. That's what Boger does. But this has been going on for 15 years. And I just asked the question about, where do we feel like, were we impressed by Cincinnati? What did they show? It was hard to get a feel for the game because every other play that something happened, it was like, hold up, we got another penalty flag down here. And every time he refs a game, every time he refs it, it always becomes about him. And he's the only ref in the NFL who literally every game that he calls becomes about him. There's bad reffing in the NFL. But can you even remember the white hat who screwed up the Saints-Rams game?
No.
I think it was Bill Vinovich. But, again, you can't totally remember that. But everybody knows when he screws up.
Because he does it habitually.
He screws up every game. He screws up every game. And I had to laugh out loud yesterday when Adam Schefter had this report. And this is how people so get gaslit on stuff all the time. And it was like Adam Schefter said this on the pregame show. Now, Adam Schefter has stepped up his water carrying to another level like I've never seen before. Like, it's every news on a player is pro player. Like, he even had to apologize a couple weeks ago because he took Dalvin Cook's side of something and was like, I hear this isn't that big of a deal. And then it was clearly a big deal.
Right.
So Adam Schefter, chief water carrier. And Adam Schefter says on Countdown that his sources are telling them Boger's crew will not ref any more games in the playoffs. Well, no duh. The wild card refs never ref any more games in the playoffs. That's why they're in the wild card round. So everybody refs in the wild card round. John Hussey, who I think is one of the best refs in the NFL, who I think might get the Super Bowl, was the alternate ref for that game. Because Hussey is going to do a game this week in the divisional round, and then they'll have Clete Blakeman or Bill Vinovich or Tony Correnti or one of those guys. Those guys will do the championship, and then they'll bring Hussey back for the Super Bowl. Because they're not going to put... But it's like yesterday, everybody was like, ha, see, Jerome Boger done for the playoffs. He's out. He's not coming back. None of the wild card refs are coming back. It's always done after the wild card round. So the NFL knows they have a Boger problem. Takes it to Adam Schefter, tells Adam Schefter that everybody who already knows anything already knows he's not reffing any more games after this, and then has Adam present it to people as breaking news. They graded so poorly in this game that they won't call another game in the playoffs. And it's because for whatever reason, and you can decide whatever you want it to be, I'm not going to say whatever, the NFL won't fire this man. And I don't know why they won't. Remember Floyd 2 years ago? This was December of 2019. Everybody that listens to this show knows Floyd. You know that Floyd never committed to something that could be used against him by his NFL people. He would never say, this quarterback sucks or that quarterback sucks or whatever, if he thought it would come back to bother him. And certainly talking about individuals would be something that would come back to bother him. And remember Floyd talking about Jerome Boger?
The bottom line is that this guy needs to be out of the NFL. And I've never, ever said that about a ref or a crew. But this guy cannot ref in the NFL anymore. You cannot miss calls that are that obvious, that blatant on a continual basis. I mean, we've been talking about him for he hasn't been in the playoffs since 2014 because and everybody makes the playoffs. You know, over a period of a year or two. Well, they haven't made the playoffs. Why? Because they can't grade high enough. They are hated by everybody in the league, and we just can't. The integrity of the officiating group is at stake here. Whoever's going to be in charge of the officials, your reputation's on the line. I mean, if you're keeping people like this around, it's a disservice to the NFL. It's a disservice to the fan base. It's a disservice to the players. everybody. I mean, it's just got to go. They got to go.
Mr. For the Shield said 2 years ago, he's got to go.
Did not hold anything back there.
He's got to go. And the league won't do it. And so this, to me, I mean, this is something that you wonder. It's hard because the data for who reffed a game well is never made public, obviously. But this should be a question that Roger Goodell gets asked is, why does this guy keep getting games? Why is this guy literally kept the Saints out of the playoffs this year. Why does he keep getting games? Well, I don't get it. And I just thought Saturday, I mean, again, watching the Bengals and trying to take away from Saturday, what could apply itself to this game is hard to do because Boger's crew was such a mess. Like, it didn't even feel like a real game. And I'll give the Raiders credit because the Raiders at least acted with some dignity after the game and didn't blame it on the refs like the Cowboys did, which the Cowboys have no business blaming the refs. I need the multi-million-dollar coach and $40 million quarterback to understand what the rules are. But it's unbelievable. It's hard for me to take anything away from that game because this crew's so bad. They're so bad. He's so bad. And yet they won't do it. They won't do it. And every game, like Floyd said, every game that he refs like that is messing with the integrity of the game. And they're not going to do anything about it. But they'll feed you a story to Adam Schefter that's really not a story that will make you feel like they're doing something about it.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So if it sounds good, why not?
It must be good.
615-737-1025. Add that to the kitty. So we got the Bengals, we got this, we got your phones. We'll do it next. Stillman and Company, Reaction Monday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now, Sissons coming on from the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025 The Game.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and three-time champion.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body could speak, it would say, I'm in pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain, but now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Emmitt's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
But now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 249-4024.
Final night of Wild Card Weekend, folks, and it just got wilder because FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new customers with 30-1 enhanced odds on this game. Joe Rexler here letting you know. That means you can bet $5, you can win $150 on tonight's final Wild Card game. It is Rams-Cardinals, a little NFC West showdown, rubber match. You sign up for FanDuel, make a deposit, claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. I personally like the Rams to win this one over the Cards to set up a trip to play Tampa Bay in the Divisional Round. And I know that I love betting on America's #1 sportsbook in the NFL playoffs because it's easy to use. The promotions are great. It's safe and secure to get paid in as little as 2 hours. And if you're already a customer of FanDuel Sportsbook, you can get $50 when you refer a friend. Your friend will also get $50. Don't miss your chance to win $150 on a $5 bet when you sign up using promo code Joe102. That's promo code Joe102. Tonight's final wildcard game. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789.
With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
Yep.
18 hours.
We're really doing this.
24 hours.
When used as directed, one spray of Microban keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria touch after touch for, up to 24 hours.
Wow.
Microban 24. The sanitizer 4 out of 5 doctors would use in their own homes. So why aren't you?
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rentalworks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
We talked about that whistle on that touchdown play. For more on this, let's go into the Domino's pregame headquarters. Guys, what's the fallout from that call?
Well, Sam, Jerome Boger and the officiating crew that worked Saturday's wild card game in Cincinnati are not expected to work again this postseason. They've been eliminated from the playoffs essentially before the game began, and essentially you get officials from the wild card round get graded. And typically the NFL chooses the officials in the divisional playoff round for the Super Bowl. But if the official presses during the wild card round, they can have a grade that goes up. Well, clearly Jerome Boger and the officials that worked yesterday are not going to receive high grades, which essentially ends their playoff run just like the Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go. That was Adam Schefter. Adam water-carrying Schefter. By the way, you notice how Schefter there didn't mention the fact that everybody who knows anything about football, including the fans, they know that traditionally he's the worst ref in the league. Like Adam Schefter didn't say, they're not expected to grade high enough to do any more games. And this was like the NFL allowed Adam Schefter to publicly shame Jerome Boger, but only to a certain point. Not to publicly shame him past. They were so bad yesterday that they won't do any more games this year. They were not allowed to shame him that he's traditionally the worst ref in the league. They're not allowed to shame, nothing else, Adam, only this far, as Schefter explained there. We do have some news, and I got this from Jonathan Hutton, who has put out there that the referee for the Titans-Bengals game will be Clete Blakeman. So the NFL has their favorite referees, and I think that Clete Blakeman is one of them. Bill Vinovich is another one of them. Tony Correnti was, though I think they're probably a little nervous about Tony Correnti after that Monday Night Football game he did this year. Mm-hmm. Gene Steratore, when he was there, they loved Gene. They obviously loved Ed Hockley. So Clete Blakeman will do it. Ron Torbert, who I think is terrible. Ron Torbert will be on Packers 49ers. Sean Hockley, who I also think is terrible, will be on Buccaneers in the winner of tonight's game. Mm-hmm. And then John Hussey, who I think is the best ref in the NFL. John Hussey will be on Chiefs Bills. Now, they usually take the official from the divisional round and official from the divisional round for the Super Bowl. I've told you, I think John Hussey's the best ref in the NFL. They put John Hussey on Chief Bills. You think that's a sign?
I don't think that's an accident.
So there's your officiating. Blakeman, who the Titans get, the league loves Blakeman. I'm not a huge Clete Blakeman fan. There have been too many games where he's reffed over the years, especially Titan games, that Clete Blakeman's done, that I remember going into it thinking, oh, goody, Clete Blakeman. Like, the league loves him. He does Super Bowls. He's reffed these games. And I've been like, man, that sucks. And all these games where Clete Blakeman's crew has just driven me crazy. So the Titans get Clete Blakeman this week against the Bengals. The whole goal will be to make sure that he doesn't matter in this game, but who knows? Let's go to your phones. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Though I do want to leave some time this hour to talk about the Cowboy game. What do we have in the text line?
One texter checks in about Jerome Boger and says his crew threw 195 flags this season with a season-high 22 with the Chiefs versus Giants game.
Yep, and I didn't watch that game, but I'm sure there were a lot of flags in that game.
That doesn't seem like a very interesting game,
and
to
I
be
would
honest.
say this about the game on Saturday with the Bengals and the Raiders. Like, they threw a lot of flags last night in the Dallas game, but every time they threw a flag, like when they threw the defensive holding flag at the end of the Dallas game, it should have won the game for the 49ers. And I forget who the ref was yesterday. It might have been Alex Kemp. I can't remember.
I don't know.
No, I think it was Craig Wolstad. He's a good ref. But when he came out and he was like, holding defense number 94, and I'm like, oh, my God, that's going to cost him the game. I'm like, this better not be some ticky-tack holding penalty. And then they show the play, and Gregory for the Cowboys bear hugs the tackle and throws him down. I'm like, okay.
That was a holding.
There was a horrible hands-to-the-face penalty for the Cowboys. And they come up and they go, illegal use of hands to the face, defense number 93. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is going to crush Dallas. This better be a real hand to the face. And you see, like, the offensive lineman's neck is like his head is about to pop off his neck because the guy's hands are pushing his head back so far. I'm like,
that's fair.
There you go. There was not a Dallas penalty last night, at least in the second half. First half, I don't know. I was shoveling my driveway and listening to the game on the radio, so I can't comment on the first half. There was not a second half Dallas penalty that I was like, oh, that's just terrible. Oh, how could they throw that? Dallas just committed all those penalties, and it's because Dallas commits penalties. But with Boger, he throws way too many phantom flags, and I felt like he did that on Saturday. What else we got?
One texter checks in and says Cincinnati looked like an average team on Sunday, did enough to win, and had the help of Jerome's incompetence. I think if the Titans pass rush plays like we've seen them, Burrow will make mistakes under pressure. Titans by 14.
So I kept seeing like that horrible offensive line for Cincinnati yesterday. I kept seeing them on Saturday, like Joe move around and everything, and it's like, wow, he really avoided the rush from the Raiders. And Crosby is a good pass rusher for the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the reason why you pay all these guys this much money is so
he
that
doesn't have
they
to do
can
that.
get him. Yeah,
Yes.
so that they get him. That when it's your team and he's trying to do all this, they get him. And again, tickets are red hot. They said the game's a sellout. At some point, I want to get into it this week that I feel like we may have some of the most fair weather fans in the entire country, which we will get into, and I'm sure that will go over well.
Oh, I'm sure the text line would love that one.
Oh, I'm sure, it'll just be. But, I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Hey, look, I'm a Titan ticket holder. I'm a Preds ticket holder, so I can talk.
So you get to say whatever you want?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Sure. Why not?
Hey, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. And so, anywho, like the silent counts and stuff, like if Cincinnati has to go to a silent count on Saturday, which I'm hopeful they will, like now you got a bad offensive line, and you got Simmons, Dupree, Landry, Autry, and they're jumping at the same time that the offensive line is able to jump. That's going to be bad for Cincinnati. 615-737-1025. I promise we will get back to your phones. I got to talk about the Cowboys game. We got one segment at least on the Cowboys game because, my God, two things on the Cowboys that everybody's picking up on, two things that they're not. I want to get to it next. Stillman and Company right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies will give way to a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, but those winds out of the northwest will continue to keep us cool. High temperature, only 38 degrees.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray, it's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Brian Porth back again to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. I was reading some stats recently, Dr. Rice, and I did not realize the ADA says that 80% of people in the U.S. have some form of gum disease.
That's right, Ryan, but our non-surgical periodontal therapy is painless and effective in keeping your mouth healthy, and the mouth is the window to the health of the rest of the body.
What else is new and different at Cool Springs Laser Dentistry?
Well, first, who doesn't want whiter teeth? Our new Zoom LED whitening system is less sensitive, and you get more than 5 shades of whitening. And we just upgraded both our lasers to kill bacteria during your cleaning.
Some people get painful cold sores. Can lasers help that too?
Yes, the gentle laser setting will kill the virus in your cold sores all naturally while reducing the healing time by half. And our special soft tissue wand uses warm, light laser therapy to give instant relief to severe TMJ pain. Our approach to holistic dentistry is unique.
Give them a call today at 615-373-4488 or visit kellyerice.com. You'll be glad you did.
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. If you don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
312 Pizza Company is family-owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style. Always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesdays and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 to order 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
This tax filing season could be one for the record books. There are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table, and Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you get every one you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, taking classes, and so much more. Don't leave thousands on the table. Jackson Hewitt will make sure you get credit for all you do and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more and find your nearest location at jacksonhewitt.com.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Robbie Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That could be something that you could really turn into.
Joe Rexrode.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
San Francisco to get to the quarterback here. Prescott takes off running the football. Whoa, I don't think this is going to work out. It will. They'll be able to clock this. They were planning for it. It's down. Oh, my gosh. Oh, the official gets in the way. The game's over. Gosh. The game is over. Oh, he did. Sure about the call, though. Well, this is where you can't set your own ball as a center. You got to give it to the ref. Dak Prescott should have looked and found the ref. You can't give it to your center. So watch the play right here. Dak, find it. Find the ref. You got to give it to him, not the center. And then that's just, they were a little too risky. You said right when I played, Jim, you called it. This is very risky. Wow, I am livid if I'm a Cowboy fan and if I'm a Niners fan. That's the end of the game. The game is over. The game is over, and San Francisco survives and advances.
There you go. Last night, the end of the game. So I had a friend who couldn't watch the game in Puerto Rico. And so I was getting, what's going on in the game, what's whatever. So call him after the game's over. I'm like, I just watched the worst football game I've ever seen in my life.
It was so gross.
It was the worst football game I've ever seen, and there are 4 people that are responsible for it. 2 of them are getting blamed today. Mike McCarthy and Dak.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
But Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo, in my opinion, are equally as guilty as Mike McCarthy and Dak. And so I'm watching this game. Dallas, typical no-show Dallas game. Dallas has games where either they don't show up or they win 45-3. I can't figure it out about Dallas. Probably has something to do with the lump that's coaching their team. I don't know. So I'm watching this game, and Dallas is just giving it away. And I thought the third quarter interception from Dak where he threw it right to the 49ers player, like that was the game. And at this point, like Tony's even talking about it on TV, like they have to get a turnover if they want to get back in this game. That there's no way Dallas comes back. So I'm watching Shanahan and I'm thinking, run the ball. Just run it. You've got the best left tackle in the NFL. You've got good enough running backs. Mitchell's good enough. Run it 3 times, and if you have to punt, you punt. You get a first down, you get a first down. Just run the ball. Just make sure it gets into the hands of the running back or Deebo Samuel, and that's it. And Jimmy throws the ball right to the other team. And I thought, and I saw Twitter just melt down about Jimmy Garoppolo, because here's Jimmy throwing the ball right to the other team, which we saw plenty of from Jimmy Garoppolo. We saw plenty of that here on that Thursday night. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you're Kyle Shanahan. You've lost 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. One you lost because you didn't run the ball up about a bajillion points. The other one you lost because Jimmy Garoppolo was your quarterback. Have you not learned your lesson at this point? You've already decided you want to move away from him. You just bought his replacement. And here you are putting the ball in his hands. Run the ball. Dallas is not going to move down the field 3 times on your defense and score touchdowns. But Shanahan can't help himself. He's got to be the smartest offensive coach in the room. He is the worst second-half coach in the NFL. Every game in the second half, he's terrible.
Worse than Brandon Staley?
Brandon Staley's bad the whole game. He goes for it on 4th and goal from the 5 in the first
quarter.
drive. So he's terrible. Worst second-half coach maybe in the history of the NFL. Has lost 2 Super Bowls because he is inept at coaching in the second half. When I went to the 49ers game here on the Thursday night, my buddy was a Niner fan, and they were up 10-0 or 17-3 or whatever, and he goes, trust me, I've already been to enough games like this. The other team's going to come back. I'm like, what? He's like, that's how we've done it all year. I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah. And then Jimmy throws the interception in the end zone. Here come the Titans. Tannehill had like 24 yards at halftime. And the Titans ended up winning the game. So, Jimmy was terrible. Shanahan was terrible. McCarthy was terrible. Dak was terrible. But trying to explain the end of this game and thinking about just how bad of football it was and why everybody should be blamed. So, Shanahan won't run the ball. So, now Dallas is able to get back into the game. Dallas ends up getting back in the game. So, now Dallas is trying to get a stop on defense to get the ball back. No, excuse me. Dallas fakes the punt. And then they leave the punt team on the field. And then they bring the offense back out. And then they get a delay game. So that was off. So now Dallas has got to get the ball back. And they commit an illegal hands to the face penalty. And the guy from Dallas almost knocks the San Francisco guy's head off. Bad call. So now Dallas has an opportunity to win the game because they can use all 3 timeouts and get it with like 2 minutes left or at the 2-minute warning with a timeout because they have all 3 timeouts. Run the ball, stop him in the backfield, timeout. Run the ball, stop him in the backfield, penalty, holding on the defense away from the play. The defensive lineman throws down the tackle. Stupid. It's a poorly coached football team. That is a poorly coached football team. Dallas gets the ball back. Dallas is trying to go down and win the game or tie the game or whatever. I guess they're going to try to win it because you score, kick the extra point, you win the game. Tony Romo points this out, and this goes back to San Francisco. Did you notice when they were in the 2-minute drill, San Francisco let Dallas have the sidelines? It was like pass sidelines, 22 yards. Pass sidelines, 18 yards. Pass sideline. When somebody doesn't have timeouts, you literally line your guys up on the sidelines and make them throw the ball into the middle of the field. That's football 101.
Which was just one of many reasons why I felt like the Dallas Cowboys were handing the 49ers the game on a silver platter, and San Francisco was like, no thanks, I'm good.
And it was pure stupidity. So San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo can't get lined up, can't wait for the tackle to line up on the quarterback sneak. This guy's been in the NFL for 8 years, and he can't wait for the tackle to get lined up. I saw an article that came out that was like, Jimmy Garoppolo will be highly wanted this offseason. If you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo and you give up anything, you're stupider than the Colts. I'm serious. The guy sucks, and he's stupid. Like, he's a stupid quarterback. And somebody will do it. Somebody will do it. And it's all. So, San Francisco just lets Dallas throw the ball into the middle of the field. Then Dallas runs the quarterback draw, which was stupid.
It was stupid.
But then Dak not knowing the rules at the end of the game, you heard Tony on the broadcast. You can't spot your own ball. I heard Rex Ryan today, who's not a great coach. I heard Rex Ryan today talking about when you drill that, you say, give the ball to the ref because the ref has to spot the ball. I have heard an analyst on television that you can't do that. And then after the game, Dak is throwing the refs under the bus in the press conference because none of the rules. And Mike McCarthy doesn't know the rules. And it reminds me of a time 6 years ago. Ken Wisenhunt was the coach of the Titans that played the Dolphins. Wisenhunt threw the challenge flag on a play you couldn't challenge. So the ref has to turn the mic on to the fans and say, Tennessee is being charged a timeout because they tried to challenge a play that you couldn't challenge. It's against the rules to challenge it. Like, it's embarrassing to have a coach throw a flag for something that you can't challenge.
Yes.
And I remember because Blaine Bishop said on a postgame show, he said that he didn't know that you couldn't challenge it. And I told Floyd, I was like, well, in fairness to Wisenhunt, Blaine Bishop said he didn't know those rules. I'm not sure I knew those rules. And Floyd goes, when you're head coach in the NFL, you are paid multi-millions of dollars to know all of those rules. He goes, like when Blaine played in the NFL, he was paid millions of dollars to go tackle Jerome Bettis. There's a big difference between the two. And I'm thinking to myself, 2-minute drill. And the coach, multi-million dollars, quarterback, $40 million, does not know the rule. Unbelievable. Jerry is spending $45 million on two dudes that in the biggest game of the season don't know the rules. And then Dak's throwing the officials under the bus after the game. The fans threw stuff on the field, and Dak was like, yeah, that was classes of the fans. I don't know exactly what Dak said, but then when they told him no, they were throwing at the officials, he was like, oh, good for them. And, like, if I'm Goodell, I might suspend Dak for a game next year. For one game. Like, no, we are not egging the fans on to throw things onto the field. You are fined a game. And because not only that, it's your fault for not knowing the rules. How do you not know the rules? Like, so San Francisco, just to recap, San Francisco can literally run it 3 downs and punt the rest of the game and they'll win. And they can't do it because Shanahan just can't run the ball.
And he's got a pretty bad boy at running back.
He can't run the ball. He won't do it. He wouldn't do it in the Super Bowl. He can't do it. He can't not try to trick the other guy. He can't do it. So San Francisco does that. Jimmy throws the ball right to the other team. Jimmy doesn't wait for the tackle to get lined up.
Which he does a lot.
A lot of just throwing it right to the
right into the hands of a defender.
Just awful. So San Francisco does all that. They play prevent defense where they let them throw it right to the sidelines. It's awful. Dallas, meanwhile, fakes a punt. San Francisco didn't even rush the punter on the fake punt. They were in that protect safe.
Right.
So even though they're banking on them trying to fake it here, they're protecting against them faking it. They still didn't do anything about it. But Dallas fakes the punt and then can't figure out to get guys on and off the field. Dallas set a franchise record for playoff penalties. The quarterback throws the ball right to the other team right there in the second half. They hold a guy, when they're trying just to tackle him in the backfield. They run a draw at the end of the game with no timeouts in the middle of the field. They don't know the rules about how to spike the ball, and yet they're blaming other people today. That was the poorest coached game and poorest quarterback game I have ever seen in terms of a combined effort from all four guys, the two coaches and the two quarterbacks. I've seen guys go out there and go, like Ben Roethlisberger yesterday, like 4 of 33 for 13 yards. Like, we've seen games like that. Mm-hmm. That's one guy. This was all 4 guys screwing it up yesterday. Amazing.
Do you think Mike McCarthy's back next year?
No.
I don't either.
But here's the crazy thing about it. I don't think he's back next year, but I ultimately think that they're going to make Kellen Moore the coach, and I think he's just as dumb as the other guys.
I think that's what Jerry likes.
To have the coach be dumb?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want that, then enjoy.
Then you don't win Super Bowls.
Jason Garrett's not dumb. Jason Garrett, Ivy League kind of guy.
But he's also not the coach anymore.
No. But I'm saying, Jerry liked having Jason Garrett. Jerry likes having a coach who will take all the blame. Jerry likes having a coach who will do whatever Jerry says and doesn't question it and all that. But at the end of the day, do you want to feel like you felt yesterday? Because that's what you're going to get if you keep hiring yes men who are dumb. McCarthy's dumb. If McCarthy wasn't a head coach in the NFL, he'd be a PE teacher. No disrespect to PE teachers. But, he'd be like your gym teacher who's like, all right, guys, we're going to dribble some basketballs today. That's why he's not an aerospace engineer over there on the sidelines.
I never accused him of such.
I mean, unbelievable.
And I think that showed yesterday.
And to not know the rules. I'll go back to Floyd. When you make millions of dollars to know the rules, they don't know the rules.
Right. Sometimes during games, I'll figure out a rule that I didn't previously know, or there was some sort of something that went on. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a precedent.
You are not.
I'm not a head coach in the NFL.
That is not your job to know that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025 here on Stillman and Company. So I've got a thought about the AFC playoffs after the weekend that I think you should be very excited about if you are a Titans fan, and we will get to that next. Stillman and Company Reaction Monday. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
274 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. You're not going to win a game that way.
The voice of the fan.
I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
The Eagles Hotel California Tour.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Live in concert with a full orchestra. Performing their iconic album Hotel California, beginning to end, plus a greatest hit set. The Eagles, Bridgestone Arena, April 28th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a ½ carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and listen, guys, I know sometimes it's tough to talk about this, but I have something that can help you, and I think you need to pay attention. Are you looking for some extra confidence when it comes to have some fun? Let me tell you about BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable formula at a fraction of the cost. It's an online prescription service, so that means no awkward talks with your doctor, and it ships directly to your house in discreet packaging. All you have to do is sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once approved, you'll get your prescription in days. And then the fun begins. And guys, here's a special deal for you. You can try Blue Chew free when you use promo code CHASE at checkout. All you have to do is pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code CHASE. And receive your first month free and have fun with confidence.
One of the smartest things you can do for the new year is convert some of your home's equity into cash. You can do it right now with a zero-cost cash-out refi from Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now. They can fast-track your home refi and get you a check for 50, 60, 70 grand or more. And if you call now, Loan Pronto can even pay your closing costs. Listen, your home value is way up. Use it to your advantage. Get cash out now. Pay off those credit card debts. Consolidate other debts. Start that home improvement project. And get your finances in great shape for 2022. Loan Pronto's refis usually close in just 2 weeks, and the process is easy. It's all digital. Call Loan Pronto now. Put that equity in your home to work towards financial freedom for the new year. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Stillman and Company.
Surprise, surprise!
I write down what was good, what was bad.
Afternoons from 2 to 6.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5. The Game streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus. Naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus, PHOCUS.com. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. So the Titans are going to draw the Bengals. And I would say this. I think it's pretty obvious to me that the Titans are taking the Bengals seriously. Like, I think that when they get in that facility, they went in there yesterday, but when they get into the facility, like, they are taking the Bengals very seriously. I don't think this is one of these teams like when they play the Texans or the Jets or the Saints with Trevor Siemian or
the Steelers,
where you worry about whether or not they'll be able to get themselves up for this game. The Titans will be focused. That I feel comfortable with. I feel fine that Vrabel will get it done. You know, now, does it mean they're going to win? I don't know. But I was thinking about the Steelers and if they were to come here. And I think the Titans would probably convince themselves to be up for this game after they got blown out by the Steelers, or not blown out, but smoked in the second half by the Steelers and really embarrassed in that game at Pittsburgh earlier this year. That maybe they would have, taken it seriously, but not as seriously as they're going to take Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And I think back to past playoffs and what I believe in really matters come the playoffs. Like, certain times home field advantage really matters. The Indianapolis Colts, I think, are a much better team in any playoffs when they're playing at home. I think the Denver Broncos are a much better team when playing at home. I think there are some teams that can go on the road in the playoffs and it doesn't matter, but John Harbaugh and the Ravens can win on the road in the playoffs. But I think home field matters. I think that getting up for your opponent and respecting your opponent matters. And I also think that what happens at the end of your game kind of matters. Cincinnati, their head coach after the game was over on Saturday, went to a local bar with a game ball to give the bar the game ball. This is for you, Cincinnati. I heard everybody talking about how great Cincinnati was. I heard everybody at Cincinnati, the players, everybody talking about how great it is. Elijah, if you can get that Joe Burrow clip. Joe Burrow was the only one at Cincinnati who wasn't just so caught up in, oh, this is for the city and we're so good and we can't be stopped and we're so great. This was Joe Burrow after the game on Saturday.
I mean, it's exciting, but this was expected. This isn't like the icing on top of the cake or anything. This is the cake.
Joe Burrow's basically telling you we're on to Tennessee. At least I'm on to Tennessee. Now, the coach has got to go to the bar and tell the bar, hey, this one's for you guys. Did you ever imagine like Belichick going to the bar after a game? Hey, guys, this game ball from the wild card game against the Raiders, this one's for you.
Oh, absolutely not. It
No.
makes me giggle just thinking about it.
No. But so what happens after your game, I think, matters. And I look at the other AFC game. The Titans are playing the early slot Saturday, which is the worst slot you can play in. They're going to get the number 2 crew from CVS. So it will be Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. It will not be Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. They are going to Kansas City. They will do the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bills and the Chiefs is the number 1 game of the weekend. I watched the Cowboys game, and I thought, if the Cowboys win and it's Brady versus the Cowboys, that will be the late game on Sunday. That will be the number 1 game, and then they'll adjust accordingly. Once I found out the Cowboys weren't going to win, and I knew that San Francisco was going to play Green Bay, and you'd get one of these two teams playing Brady, I was like, okay, Bills-Chiefs is going to be the game of the week. Mm-hmm. So everyone's going to be talking about Bills and Chiefs, and everybody's going to be pumping up how big that game is, and you're not going to have to get the Bills up for that game, and you're not going to have to get the Chiefs up for that game to realize that this is a big opponent. Everybody's going to be telling you all week on TV, the winner of that game is going to win the AFC. That's what everyone's going to say. And I look at the situation the Titans are in, and I'm like, oh, I love this situation. Because the Titans are playing an opponent that they take seriously, but nobody else cares about. People will watch this game, and once the game's over, they will move on to they'll move on to Green Bay, then they'll move on to Brady versus whoever wins tonight, and then they'll move on to the big Bills-Chiefs showdown. And when that game ends, and I think that game's going to be a war, and when that game's over, everyone's going to be pumping up that team. Everybody's going to be crowning the Bills or the Chiefs. They're going to say, wow, did you see what Josh Allen did going into Arrowhead, 411 yards? If the Titans were to play the Steelers, I think the Titans would have blown them out. Something along like when Jacksonville came here and it was 20-0. I think the Titans would have blown them out. But would that have prepared them for what they're probably going to get in the next round of the Chiefs and the Bills? Whereas this is a real team that's got good players, that's got a good quarterback, just like the other two teams have good quarterbacks. Like, this is a game you got to prepare for, you got to get up for, you got to play hard for. And then once you win it by about a touchdown or so, once you win that game, now it's time to move on to the next one. And you know that, because you know you're not going to have a hard time with the Titans getting up for the Bills or the Chiefs. But I think about the Bills and the Chiefs, that's going to be an all-out war that they're going to put all their energy into. And then when they win, they may think we've won the AFC. Nobody's going to remember, including them, that they both came in here earlier in the year and lost. People will remind them, but not where they actually truly believe it. Just like we wouldn't care that the Titans lost to the Steelers if they were playing the Steelers this week. This is the perfect game to get going on. The Bengals, you got to take them seriously. They've got good players, but they're not a great team. The other two, those are good teams. Like really good teams. So you'd like a nice little warm-up. This reminds me a lot of the 2003 playoffs, and I know I've talked about it a lot, and a couple weeks ago I wrote it down. But New England, Kansas City, Trent Green, number 2 in total offense, first in points scored. Indianapolis, Peyton Manning, co-MVP, third in total offense, second in points. Tennessee, co-MVP Steve McNair, eighth in total offense, fifth in points. The Patriots didn't have a Pro Bowl quarterback that year. They were 17th in total offense and 12th in points scored. Yet, they played a really tough game against Tennessee in the divisional round. They won 17-14. Indianapolis smoked Denver in their first game, a lot like Buffalo smoked New England last week, and then beat Kansas City 38-31 in a game where there was one punt. Kansas City punted once, and that was the ball game. One time. Dang. What do you expect out of Kansas City Buffalo? Now, Buffalo's got a good defense, but I expect it to be that kind of game. I expect Buffalo, if they win, something like 41-10 31, 41, 35, just a war. By the way, the next week, Indianapolis, Peyton Manning, co-MVP, high-powered offense on the road at Foxborough, scored 14 points. They lost 26-14. And it wasn't really that close either. So that rest is important. Playing defense is important. But valuing your opponent and getting a real test in that divisional round, I think that's important. I would not have liked it if the Titans got the Steelers, blew them out, and really didn't get a test. Something that bothered me about the 2000 team that lost to the Ravens was their last two games going into the bye week, and then the Ravens was terrible Cleveland in their second year of existence, blew them out. Terrible Dallas with Anthony Wright at quarterback on Christmas Day, blew them out 31-0. Week off, Ravens. There's not much of a ramp up there. This is a real playoff game that you will be playing on Saturday. So I like the situation they're in. Let's get your thoughts on it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. And I got to say, the Bengals have been doing some talking. And I do wonder what we think of the Bengals from just the way they won their game on Saturday. I'll explain that next. Stillman and Company right here. It is Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus. Naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus, phocus.com. We are delivered by TriStar Moving. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game and always streaming on the Game Nashville app.
Every day at Cromwell Media, we want to help make a difference. And over the holiday season, you made a difference with your contributions to Souls for Music City. Thank you for helping hundreds of kids in the Nashville area who experience homelessness get a new pair of shoes to start off 2022. We'd also like to thank Newton Motor Group and Souls for Souls from all of us at Cromwell Media and Nashville's Best Sports Talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
The Lowe's Just for Pros event is back. Get savings on the top tools, plus bonus perks to help with your business. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Valid 117 to 128 U.S. only.
Furniture has never been easier to buy than now at Social Furniture. All the 2022 models are arriving daily with the latest styles and colors ready for delivery today. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery for your convenience. Use their financing and pay no money down and pay no interest for 1 full year. Yes, you heard right. No money down and no interest for a year. It's all easy at Social Furniture. All furniture at Social is top quality, solid woods and designer fabrics. Buy local. Support Social. Social Furniture on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville.
Prices are rising on essential equipment for your home. Manufacturer prices have already gone up on most equipment, but Hiller is honoring our 2021 pricing through January. This year, we're expecting extremely limited supply and major price increases on HVAC systems, home generators, and tankless water heaters. Take advantage of our lowest prices now. Visit happyhiller.com today.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I had it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com now to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deirdre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving. Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. So, the referee, we already said it's going to be Clete Blakeman. As I predicted, Iron Eagle Charles Davis will be calling the game. You know Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are going to Bills Chiefs.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, which, by the way, we talk about somebody that signs a contract and then all of a sudden just falls off. How about Romo? He sucks.
Well, yesterday he showed a good bit of Cowboys bias.
But see, I didn't see that as much as everybody else did.
I saw it.
But my problem was, what happened to predicting the plays? What happened to the wizard that's like, he's going to throw over here, he's going to cut in here, what happened to that earned him the contract? Instead, I'm listening to him call the game, and he's like, I don't know, Jim, what do you think they should do here? You think they should take the penalty? I'm like, that's your job, Tony. That's your job. Not, Jim, what do you think? You think they should go for it here? That's your job. Jim's like, I don't know, Tony. I think it'd be tough for them to go for it here on 4th down. I'm like, that's not Jim's job. That's your job, Tony. That is your job. That would be like saying, hey, Tracy, what do you think they should do on 4th down? I don't know, Tony. I'm here to tell you who went to the blue tent. Like, that's what I'm down here doing. So Tony gets $17 million a year. And I'm fine with that. Because number one announcers, I don't know if you guys saw Drew Brees calling the game the other day. Number one announcers, they are hard to find. And I mean, Tony, when he first, he was predicting every play, and I'm watching the game. I'm like, where are my predictions? Where's my crystal ball?
I do wonder if CBS had a conversation with Tony Romo, like, hey, interact more with your color analyst, maybe, tone it down a little bit, because it's not like his knowledge of football has waned at all. It's not like his talent has decreased within a year or two.
You think the one thing that everybody liked about Tony Romo that got him the $17 million a year?
Well, I don't know if that's what got him the $17 million a year.
Oh,
I can assume.
I think the predicting plays was what made Tony Romo Tony Romo.
Well, why did he just all of a sudden stop doing it? It's not like he can't do it anymore.
I don't know, but that's what everybody liked. Remember that AFC Championship game, Patriots-Chiefs, where he was calling out every play before
He is quite literally a wizard. I know.
So where did that go?
It's not like it just disappeared out of thin air.
Now it's like, oh, Jim, I don't know what they should do here. This is a tough one. What do you think they should do, Jim? Like, Tony, that's your job.
That is what he sounds like.
That's your job, Tony. Like, have you ever heard Kirk Herbstreit ask Chris Fowler what he thinks a coach should do? No, because that's not his job. Anywho, I digress. Which I don't love Iron Eagle and Charles Davis either. Although Charles Davis is a really nice guy. So Iron Eagle, Charles Davis will be doing the game. And Little Big Town will be doing the anthem, and Jimmy Allen will be playing at halftime. So it'll be a party now.
That will be a party.
So I want to get to this, which was the Bengals and kind of the way that they, you knew the Bills would be fired up for embarrassing the Patriots. I mean, that was like Michigan beating Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
That was we've been waiting for 20 years to actually do this, and now we've done it. Screw them. I'm fine with that. But the Bengals score 26 points on the Raiders, win a very contested game, and then all of a sudden, we played the Joe Burrow clip where Joe Burrow was kind of like, yeah, it's great, but, it's not unexpected, whatever. Joe was cool.
And that's pretty par for the course with him.
Joe has always been pretty cool. Joe harbors a lot of anger inside, but doesn't really vocalize it.
because it's out on the field.
Like,
that's where you see it.
Jordan Rodgers ripped on him a couple years ago before he won the Heisman Trophy at LSU, and he held it against him for an entire year. Like, that's just how Joe is. But it's the other guys. So Sam Ponder on ESPN was talking about the Bengals when they had their 10-minute Bengals session on Countdown. And I can't stand Sam Ponder either. But this was what Sam Ponder said about the Bengals. And then I want to play some clips and us decide if this is actually the case or if the Bengals are too cocky for a team that won one playoff game for the last 30 years. Here's what Sam Ponder said.
I am loving this confidence
Burrow kid
from the Bengals right now because they're taking that act like you've been there approach even when they haven't been there. And it's an interesting approach going into the playoffs. There's so much confidence behind this team right now.
So I just love the confidence in the Bengals because they've acted like they've been there before. Now think about the other three teams that are still in the AFC playoffs. All three of them have been to an AFC title game in the last 2 years. All three of them have been in the playoffs the last 3 years. So Tennessee's been through this. They've gone on the road beating a 1 seed. They've gone to the AFC Championship game. Kansas City's been to 3 straight AFC title games. They've been to 2 straight Super Bowls. And Buffalo went to the title game last year, played in the playoffs the year before that. Cincinnati hasn't. We know Joe Burrow's cool. We get that. But what about his coach? This was Zach Taylor. And I really wonder what this means. This was Zach Taylor after the game Saturday.
If we feel like we're on top of our game, we can beat any team in this league. We're not afraid of anybody. This team's got a ton of confidence. We always know it's going to be difficult. Whoever we play next, it's going to be a great team. But our guys don't worry about that. We feel like we can put pressure on teams as well. We can be aggressive. Teams have to worry about us.
We can beat anybody we play. Hey, if we play our game, we can beat anybody we play. 18th in total defense. You know what Buffalo is?
1.
First. 17th in takeaways. Chiefs are 5th. Titans are 14th. Bills are 3rd. If we play our game, we can beat anybody. Yeah, the game that leads the NFL in sacks. By the way, the best road victory for the Bengals in every game they play from here on out will be on the road. The best road game for the Bengals, their best road win, you can decide between Pittsburgh or Vegas. They also lost to Chicago and the Jets on the road.
Well, to be fair, the Titans did lose to the Jets as well.
Titans aren't going on the road.
And the Texans as well.
Titans aren't going on the road. Titans also beat the Chiefs and the Bills at home.
Yes.
So they at least have an impressive win at home.
They have 2 very impressive wins.
The way we play our game, Pittsburgh might be the best team they beat. They also beat Detroit, Baltimore, and Denver on the road. Those are some great teams.
How much of that do you think he actually believes, and how much of that is smoke and mirrors to get the fan base to say, yeah, Bengals?
You ever heard Mike Vrabel say, hey, if we play our game, we can beat anybody? One time I remember doing a show when the Titans were getting ready to play a game, and I was talking about, hey, if the Titans just go out there and play Titan ball, they're going to win this game. And I literally bloviated about it for 4 minutes. Just, hey, Titan ball. So I'm like, GM, what do you think? And he just looks at me and goes,
what is Titans ball?
What the hell is Titan ball? I was like, we run the ball. Titans get out there to the. He goes, yeah, I don't know what that is. I've only been doing this for 40 years. But
it's how many times have you heard John Hines say, the Predator way?
But in all fairness, now we know what that way is.
Yes, but before
now it's very well
didn't
defined.
Know what that meant.
Right, before it just sounded like buzzword.
Yes.
So Jamar Chase, wide receiver, who, by the way, is great and is a bad boy. Jamar Chase channeling his inner Terrell Owens after the game on Saturday.
I'm really like that every game. It don't matter who is across from me. I got that dog mentality. It's either be stopped or not be stopped. So, I don't think I can be stopped.
I don't think I can be stopped. Okay. Yeah, I remember when Terrell Owens put a note outside of his locker room before they played the Patriots and Randy Moss and said, we all remember the note, something along the lines of, I'm not going to be doing any talking this week because all the talking will be at the game. When the real 81 takes on 81, talking about Randy Moss or whatever. And the last line that we all remember of that note was, get your popcorn ready. And T.O. got embarrassed. I mean, it's easy. Hey, nobody can stop me. When we play our game, nobody can beat us. So, Are we loving the confidence of the Bengals? Or do we think outside of Joe Burrow, who's cool, calm, and collected, that these are a bunch of dweebs that haven't been here before and are getting ready to enter the Lions' den where the Titans, the Bills, and the Chiefs have all been there before?
Would you not call that confidence? I don't think anyone can stop me. I think that's pretty confident. Whether it's rooted in truth or not, that's still confidence.
What's the difference, though, between actually being confident in what you're doing and just talking?
Do you think that Jamar Chase has any reason to not be confident?
I mean, I think that Derrick Henry could get up to the podium every week if he wanted to and say nobody can stop me either, and he never does.
Because it's kind of true.
But Tom Brady never does. It reminds me, and I've watched a lot of this Man in the Arena series, Marcus Pollard, the tight end of that Colts team that I just talked about, that 2003. I think it was 41 points in the first game against Denver, 38 points, and did not punt in the second game against Kansas City. And Marcus Pollard said, if we play this way, they might as well just hand us the trophy. And Brady said in the Man in the Arena documentary, he said, just hand you the trophy. What are you talking like that? They took offense to that. So I actually did some research on it, and the Patriots let it be known after the fact about the line from Marcus Pollard was, if we play like that, they should just hand us our rings. Belichick sits down with everybody, reads out the quote, takes up his hand where they've got the first Super Bowl ring that they won, and goes, gentlemen, they don't give these away.
Whoa.
They don't give these to you.
Whoa.
And that's just that's when you've been there. Brady doesn't talk like that. Like Brady won in Lambeau last year. Guess what he's not going to do? Go to the podium and be like, oh, yeah, we'll go beat the Packers this year too. We did it last year. They can't stop us. So I hear this from the Bengals, and I'm like, man. And Chase is a great player. And wide receivers, at times can be a little too cocky.
They got a little sass to them.
But I just know that the teams that traditionally win don't do a lot of that. They don't do a lot of talking. And don't think Frank Clark, who hasn't really had much of a season this year. When the Chiefs were bad, Frank Clark was nowhere. And he did all that talking after the AFC Championship game 2 years ago when they held Derrick Henry to 69 yards. And don't think that if that's not the AFC Championship game this year, don't think that that's not going to be brought up. Now, the Titans may not talk about it publicly, but those things matter. So I hear the Bengals, and I hear, Joe Burrow. Elijah, if you could, that Joe Burrow clip that I hear this, and I'm like, oh, God, he's going to come in here and throw for 800 yards. But this was Joe Burrow and kind of how collected he was.
I mean, it's exciting, but, this was expected. This isn't like the icing on top of the cake or anything. This is the cake.
Oh, I heard that. I was like, oh.
He's so cool.
Then I heard the coach, and I'm like, you dweeb.
The coach is such a dweeb.
Such a dweeb. By the way, Caroline is in charge of this week. I've literally put her in charge of. By the way, Caroline got a promotion around here. Director of Digital Coordinating or whatever.
Digital coordinator.
Digital coordinator.
Yes.
Very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
But I put Caroline in charge this week. I was like, you have to follow the Bengals. So everything that's said by the Bengals, you have to, she has to listen to every press conference. And if there's something that sounds arrogant or cocky or embarrassingly pathetic, we need to know about it.
And Zach Taylor's press conference yesterday, pretty much the entirety of it was kind of pathetic.
Oh, he's a cheese ball.
He is a cheese ball. And I think it's part of it, too. Now that I've been in Nashville for about a year, I'm kind of conditioned to listening to Mike Vrabel's press conferences that are as monotone and as, not giving in to the noise as possible. Then I hear Zach Taylor saying, this team, this city, everybody gets a game ball.
Game ball.
Like, Come on, at least show a little bit of edge. You didn't just win the Super Bowl, brother. You beat the Raiders in the first round of the playoffs, and you've got a much bigger giant on the other end on Saturday.
You scored 26 points against the Raiders.
And I get it. Big
Which
Bengals fans
hard.
should be
Everyone's hard to get.
Everyone works hard. The Bengals fans should be excited. This is a drought that's finally broken. I get it. It's exciting. Got another game on Saturday.
You think Joe cares about that?
No, he does not.
Joe scares.
No.
Joe, it's like, Joe Burrow may walk in
scary.
here and stick an ice pick in the side of your temple. The other guys, I think it's so funny about Zach Taylor. I heard Colin Cowherd pumping his tires, and he was talking about, one of the smart young coaches in Zach Taylor. I'm like, well, before he got Joe Burrow, his team was the worst team in the NFL. Like Marvin, they were bad, but they weren't as bad as they were for him that first year. So I don't know, maybe Joe is elevating the coach as if we haven't seen Joe do that in the past.
He even said, I'm a third-year head coach, and if I worked for any other organization, I probably wouldn't be here right now. You know what, Zach? I think you're right.
Yep, go back over there and go kiss Joe's feet some more, because that's why people think you're a good coach. We're to your phone, 615-737-1025. Plus, one thing I said everybody was allowed to do on Friday, and you are allowed to do it, but I'm going to ask if you guys have done it, because this is the next step in the AFC playoffs. We'll get to that coming up here on Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game, and we're streaming on the Game Nashville app.
He is back.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown. 76 yards.
King Derrick Henry returns to the lineup for the Titans.
Win every day, not just every game, win every day.
As the Two-Tone Blue look to capture the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
The catalyst that gets any of this Titans offense moving is Derrick Henry.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Hey, what's up? It's Chase McCabe and BetMGM. I love BetMGM. They welcome you with a special offer on the Pro Football Playoffs. All you have to do is place a $10 moneyline wager on any game. If either team scores a touchdown, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your bet's outcome. All you have to do is use the bonus code 1025GAME200 when you make your first bet. Enjoy the playoffs like never before and earn M-Life rewards that you can use for rooms and dining at any MGM resort nationwide. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME200 to win $200 in free bets if a touchdown is scored in a Pro Football Playoff game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is here to serve you. Is your AC or heating unit old and inefficient? Is it breaking down yearly? Now is the time to replace it. With Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, get a unit that lasts with their 10-year parts and labor warranty. Get ahead of the game now and call Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, offering 60 months no-interest financing and 10 years parts and labor warranty on all new units. Restrictions apply and not available on all equipment. Schedule now at springhillac.com or call 615-778-8855.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Regular changes are the best way to keep your engine running smooth. We'll help you find the right oil for your make and model and everything to help you finish the job right, like drain pans, filters, and funnels. And we've got more ways to get it all fast, like our next day delivery and our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and RentalWorks, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Reaction Monday is powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling here on Stillman Company and by Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. DrinkFocus.com. So when I was a kid, ESPN's Sunday Countdown used to be like the gold standard of pregame shows. I mean, it used to be 2 hours, and it would come on 2 hours before kickoff, so I'd watch 1 hour of Countdown, and then I usually liked Fox, JB, Terry, Howie, Jimmy. The problem is that those guys, I know JB's on CBS now, but those guys haven't changed since then. It's like the same show on Fox. It's the same, cackle laughing from Terry Bradshaw that I just can't handle anymore.
It is a big old laugh.
It is a cackle laughing. Oh, my God. So Countdown, though, has changed. And a lot of people, I don't think, watch Countdown anymore like they used to. I mean, it used to be like everybody watched Countdown. Brady even said so, Tom Brady, in his Man in the Arena docuseries when they talked about Tom Jackson saying that the Patriots hated Belichick, and the Patriots took a lot of offense to that. But I watched Countdown. And I wanted to see what they'd say about all the teams and the games and the teams the Titans might play. And I said this on Friday, that I thought the Bills were better than the Chiefs. And everybody told me I was crazy. You told me I was crazy. Chad Withrow told me I was crazy. The texters told me I was crazy. Everybody said I was crazy. And I said on Friday, you are totally allowed to change your mind after what you see this weekend. Rex Ryan has completely changed his mind about Buffalo after what he saw on Saturday. Here's what the coach said on Sunday Countdown.
The way this team is playing, look, they're number one in the NFL in defense. All right. So, I mean, and they have this great offense. It's about them right now. And are they the favorites right now to win the thing? Yeah. They had the only thing they had to prove to me was that they could stop the run. And you knew New England was going to come in committed to pounding the football. Why? Because in the season we saw New England run it, the Colts run it, and Tennessee run it.
So now, hey, they stopped New England running the ball. So that's like stopping Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. They couldn't do it in the regular season, but it's like the same. But I did tell you guys that the numbers kept making me think the Bills were an elite team. Third in points scored, first in points allowed, fifth in total offense, first in total defense, third in takeaways, first in taking away interceptions. That's an elite team. Rex says Super Bowl favorite after what they did to the Patriots. You told me on Friday you would go Chiefs over Bills. How do you feel about Buffalo now? And is Rex right? Are the Bills the Super Bowl favorite?
I don't know if I can say Super Bowl favorite right now, but I was actually thinking about this. I mean, 1 quarter in to the Bills-Patriots game, and I thought, my percentages have shifted a whole lot. Because I had Kansas City 51, just a little over more than likely. I had the Titans at 40%, and now I'm leaning toward like Buffalo 35, Kansas City maybe 30 or 35, and then the Titans 25, and then the remainder to the field. I mean, Buffalo, I wasn't necessarily ready to take the cheese on Buffalo because whatever I had seen in the regular season, I thought they're kind of up and down. They can put up a bunch of points against the Patriots one week, and then they lose against the Patriots the other week, and they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The consistency wasn't there for me. But I saw what they did against the Patriots, and that wasn't like, a Steelers type of opponent. I mean, the Patriots are a good team. The Bills looked really good. The Bills looked incredibly dangerous. And the Bills are also a team that's been there before. Not to the Super Bowl, but they've been in the playoffs before.
Here's where your percentages, though, bother me a little bit as far as the Bills are concerned.
Okay.
Because not everything's equal. So Tennessee's trip to the Super Bowl involves Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. The Titans get to play in terms of points allowed, points scored. the team that has scored the 7th most points and given up the 17th most points. The Bills have to play the team that has scored the 4th most points and given up the 8th most points. You know, like the Bills' road is to Kansas City, to Tennessee. That's really hard.
That is really hard.
Like, that's hard. Your road is Cincinnati and then at home against one of these other two teams. So I think we're not factoring in when we're like, okay, who should be the favorite, who is, who isn't. I don't think we're adequately factoring in how it's so much harder for Buffalo and Kansas City because they have to play each other than it is for you, who doesn't have to play either of them.
And I think that's what I am factoring in is the games this weekend. And I gave Buffalo and Kansas City a pretty even shot, maybe a little bit of an advantage to Buffalo, because that's how I think that this game this weekend is going to kind of fall out with Buffalo and Kansas City. I think that is ultimately going to very much so be a pick-em. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either side of the ball. So that's why I give them even Super Bowl odds, because I think they're a pretty evenly matched team. Not necessarily the individual roads.
So I think that Buffalo's better, but Kansas City's playing at home. I mean, it's the playoffs, baby.
It's a tough place to play, too.
But I'm telling you, I think most people are with Rex. I think now they just love the Bills. I think they love.
I mean, it's all about
Remember what
recency
Kyle
bias.
Brandt said last week about the Titans are going to lose a game without even playing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody considers the Titans the favorite.
No.
But I told you all. I told you all on Friday. You guys are totally allowed to change your minds. How many people have changed their minds? Are the Bills the team to be worried about? Like when you watch, let's say the Titans win Saturday. Knock on wood. Let's say they win Saturday. Who do you root for on Sunday if you're a Titans fan?
Oh, my gosh. I don't even know. I guess Kansas City, maybe?
Elijah, who do you root for? Oh, I don't know where Elijah's at.
Oh, sorry about that. I was editing a clip there.
Who do you root for?
In Bills Chiefs?
Yes.
Bills Chiefs.
Oh, man. I personally Bills, because it's a personal thing. I like to see the Bills.
Okay, I don't care about that. Who do you think Titan fans should root for?
Chiefs.
See, there you go. Everybody changed their mind.
I mean, that
Everybody's changed their mind.
Total 180 from me from Friday.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. So add that to the kitty. We'll get to your phones next. Plus, Chris Sanders. We got to get to this Chris Sanders take, which we'll do later today, but it's a take. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025, The Game.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We're offering some exciting new menu items. We have Grandma's famous chicken and dumpling soup. We're offering a fun and new exciting Nashville hot battered shrimp. We're also very excited about our confit chicken hash. Join us in Kitchen Notes for our award-winning patty melt made with our house-made pimento cheese, local Blackhawk Farms beef patty. Come join us in Kitchen Notes and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Lunch at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Happy New Year and Happy New You from Houston Clinic Orthopedics, conveniently located where you live and work, with various locations in and around the Nashville area. Houston's physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and many other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they strictly adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all Houston physicians and specialties, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nashville area attorneys. 810 Crescent Center Drive, Suite 160, Franklin, Tennessee, 37067.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 1025 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company Reaction Monday is powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. And TriStar, and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. DrinkFocus.com. Do you have a thought or do you want to go to the phones?
To the phones.
Well, I saw somebody text into the text line. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. I saw somebody text into the text line and is mad that I haven't taken enough calls today.
Yes, Ben is awfully mad at you.
I feel like I've taken a lot of calls today.
Ben says not enough.
Have I not taken enough calls?
Well, according to Ben, no.
I'm asking you.
Well, I think that you could take more. It is a Reaction Monday, after all.
But the Titans didn't play.
Well, the people still have stuff to react to.
I mean,
it's not a Titans Reaction Monday this week. It's just a Reaction Monday.
It's a weird Reaction Monday because, like, a lot of people aren't working today because it's Martin Luther King Day.
So they should be punished for that?
I'm a big fan of Martin Luther King. No, but it's just, it's a different show. Titans didn't play. It's a different Reaction Monday.
Okay, well then you call the shots.
To the
Don't
phones.
ask me what I think.
Phones we go. What do we have?
Matt from Paris texts in and says, I personally hope the Bills and Chiefs have a tough defensive battle and it takes a physical and emotional toll on both teams. I feel like that game will work to the advantage of the Titans if they make it to the divisional round.
They will have a tough game, I think. I do not think it will be a defensive battle. I will be stunned in Arrowhead if this game is 17-14. Stunned. And I don't know what the weather's like there, but, I mean, I think Buffalo's going in there to try to hang 40. And I think Kansas City is trying to hang 50.
If you're Vegas, what do you set that over-under at?
70 and a half.
70?
70. What is the over-under?
I don't know. I can double-check that.
What happened to our
70?
Caesar Sportsbook Caroline Fenton Daily Sports Update?
Well, I wasn't prepared. And you heard my update earlier, and it was about the game tonight, not the games this weekend. I got to give the people the most updated information.
I mean, I'm just
But I will do a deep dive into the Caesar Sportsbook app, my favorite sportsbook app, and see what the over-under is next week. But it's got to be high.
I'm going to guess it's probably like 60.
That's still so high, though.
I know.
But if I was Vegas, I would set it up
I think the
56
Titans
and a half.
Bengals. I think the Titans Bengals is like 47 and a half, which is by far the lowest.
So low.
But that's good because everybody thinks that these Cincinnati receivers are unstoppable. So it's like, yeah, Vegas is saying, it's probably going to be kind of low.
Josh texts in the text line and says, I think we can make an argument to face either the Bills and Chiefs. We spanked Kansas City earlier this season and have a lot of success against them minus 2019. But also, the Bills could take out Kansas City but then run out of gas in Nashville. That's really hard for Buffalo, and it's something they couldn't do in weeks 5 to 6.
So I don't need to come up with reasons to why I think the Titans can win these games in the AFC Championship game. For a bunch of reasons. Number one, it really isn't important right now. Like, nobody's thinking about, like, beating Kansas City. Everybody is thinking about beating the Bengals, or at least, I shouldn't say that. That's what matters right now is beating Cincinnati, because if you don't beat Cincinnati, then there is no Buffalo and there is no Kansas City. I can make an argument. Like, I can make an argument on a, go team, go, woo! I can make an argument for why they could beat either team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you, they're not going to be favored against either Kansas City or Buffalo if they play here. And I understand why. The Titans are 15th in points scored on offense. Kansas City is 4th, and the Bills are 3rd. The Titans are 6th in points allowed on defense. The Chiefs are 8th, and the Bills are 1st. The Chiefs are 5th in takeaways. The Bills are 3rd. The Titans are 14th. Like, that's playoff football right there. The Titans will not be favored. And I know we will hear all week before the AFC Championship game, if the Titans win this game, we will hear all week about how the Titans don't get enough respect because the Bills are favored or the Bills are going to win this game 41-38, and every pundit on television is going to get excited about a Aaron Rodgers versus number 1 Buffalo defense Super Bowl, and I get all that. But, I mean, I think it's pretty valid if, say, Buffalo wins for Buffalo to be favored here, and I think it's valid for Kansas City to be favored here, and I think that that's where the Titans can take that underdog mentality of, wait a minute, aren't we the number 1 seed? Shouldn't we be the ones that are favored? I mean, nobody believes in us once again. They don't, like, the Titans can drum that message up all they want, but make no bones about it, that is what people are going to think.
Over-under on the Bills-Chiefs game is set at 55. I would hammer that over. I mean, I think it's going to be like a 42-35 type of game.
It's only 55 if Buffalo plays good defense. And then Buffalo will run away with that game. Like they ran away with it in Kansas City earlier this year. And remember what I told you all. You know, the one thing the Bengals didn't do that I wish they would have done on Saturday, I wish they would have creamed the Raiders. You know, like
I mean, but they're still coming out of that game fat and happy.
I know, they're cocky. But I mean, just creamed them. Because every time you get fat and happy, that's the one thing. If one of these teams blows the other team out, Kansas City or Buffalo, and then they come in here, they could get pretty arrogant. Oh, I'd love it. And then you're playing on the road. And again, playing on the road is more difficult than home. Everybody knows that. What's next?
Andrew checks in and says the Bills are going to beat the brakes off of Kansas City. The media has been overrating Kansas City for months because they want Mahomes to be the GOAT.
I mean, I just think that they like Kansas City because they put up so many points that they ran out of fireworks. And they've been to back-to-back Super Bowls, and they've arguably been the best team in the AFC 3 years in a row.
And I don't think the media wants anyone to be anything. I think the media just understands that Patrick Mahomes is a very good quarterback.
I mean, the media does fall in love with narratives, and the media does want more interesting Super Bowls. Like, they want the Dallas Cowboys to win.
Of course.
But I don't think that, like, it changes reality in any way. Speaking of reality, Chris Sanders had a take about the Cincinnati Bengals. Former Titans receiver, he has been on the losing end coming off the bye week of being the number 1 seed. He's been on the winning end of having the bye week and winning the divisional round. And he had a take about the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Titans that we will get to next. Stillman and Company right here. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game. TriStar Moving. Those are my official movers. I absolutely love TriStar Moving. I moved with them over a year ago, and it was the best experience I had. I hate moving. I really do. But not when you have TriStar Moving. That's why their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving was a breeze. They are always upping the game when it comes to mover training, and my move was taken care of perfectly. So just talk to my friends at TriStar Moving, their owners, Garrett and Robert, true Nashvillians that built this company and are proud of it. So if you want to move, give them a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. And again, those are my official movers. TriStar Moving.
Take us wherever you may go.
There is going to be a whole lot of work going on.
Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. Your home value is way up. Why not use that equity to make your house even nicer for the new year? Hey, Willie Donick here talking about a cash-out refi with Loan Pronto. So call Loan Pronto now. They're fast-tracking home refis for the new year, and people are getting checks for $60, $70, $100 grand or more. And right now, Loan Pronto can even cover all your closing costs. Listen, your home's value is way up. All you have to do is convert that equity into cash. Cash for a new luxurious kitchen or a new home office, or start that swimming pool so you can use it for the summer. Call Loan Pronto now. You can even close in as little as 2 weeks with a big check. Do it now and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So make 2022 the year you fix up your home and reinvest with Loan Pronto's help. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Hi, I'm Dr. Toyos of Toyos Clinic. Are you ready to enjoy freedom from glasses and contact lenses? We now offer the latest technology, flapless LASIK. With flapless LASIK, the very next day you can swim, work out, wear makeup. Call our LASIK concierge for a free consultation. 800-603-1989, 800-603-1989. Toyos Clinic, flapless LASIK. See better, look better.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Superspeedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and now Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. And Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus, PHOCUS.com, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. So, breaking news, the Las Vegas Raiders have fired their general manager, Mike Mayock, which I have no problem with. Like, I think there are going to be some people, like, I don't know what will happen with the coach, Bisaccia, but I think there are a lot of people that are like, after Mayock had gotten them to the playoffs and the fallout from the Gruden and the... Dude, Mayock was a TV guy. He had no business being a general manager in the National Football League. His credentials just weren't good enough. I remember when they made him the general manager, and I remember Floyd's chuckling when that happened. Like, Mayock's a TV guy, just like all the other TV guys. And guess what? When Louis Riddick gets a job, because there's TV, they actively campaign for Louis Riddick to be a general manager, he'll be a TV guy too. You also don't get to keep your job when you draft Cleveland Farrell 4th overall. Like, at some point, like, these things have to add up a little bit. Mayock's out with the Raiders. So resetting our thoughts on the Bengals. I have no problem with this matchup for the Titans. I also don't think it's going to be a walk down easy street on Saturday when the Titans get set to take on Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's got a great quarterback. And I think that if you've got a great quarterback, there's a lot of things that can go right by having a really good quarterback. I also think when you've got a good quarterback who is smart, that adds points to it. Just Dallas doesn't have a great quarterback, but their quarterback yesterday proved he's not very smart. And I think Dallas is going to struggle for a while until they get one of those figured out. But I, again, like the matchup. Much rather play them than play the Bills. Much rather play them than the Chiefs. And honestly, this is the final 8 of the NFL. Of the final 8 who's out there, including this game today, Cincinnati is probably the 6th or 7th best team. And I'd like to play the 6th, 7th, or 8th. I'm going to say San Francisco's the 8th best team, although San Francisco did beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say San Francisco's the 8th best team, but I'd like to play the 6th or 7th best team instead of playing the Bills or the Chiefs. But that doesn't mean that I am as confident in a Titan victory on Saturday as former Titans receiver Chris Sanders. On our playoff preview show Friday night, I asked the question, who would be the best team for the Titans to get matched up with? Here's what our colleague Chris Sanders said.
Who would be the easiest? The easiest. The Cincinnati Bengals. I would say the reason why I would say the Cincinnati Bengals is because we have a nice, nasty front. Yeah. And I think their offensive line is struggling. I think if they came into Nissan Stadium, I don't think it would be a close game. I understand they have Jamar Chase and they have Boyd and they have some big-time wide receivers, but their offensive line struggles. And with our defense, with Simmons and Landry and them dogs that sick the quarterback, I think we'll put a goose egg on them.
I mean, just no consideration.
A goose egg.
I mean, I don't want to get too hamstrung on that because Joe did this morning. He said a shutout, so if they score 1 point, then Chris is wrong. I don't look at it like that. Chris Sanders says he thinks they're going to smoke them. He thinks the Titans are going to smoke the Bengals. The line's 3.5, right?
I believe so.
He thinks the Titans are going to smoke them. He thinks the defensive line is going to get after Joe Burrow and hit him into the ground, and they are going to just railroad the Bengals. That's what he said. You heard what he said. Do we agree?
I don't think I can. I don't think I can agree. Do I think that the Titans are capable of blowing out the Bengals? Yeah, probably. The Cincinnati? I think that, yes, I think they are capable, but do I think they are going to? I don't think so, because I understand Chris's argument, and that's what I think that the argument that a lot of people are making in favor of the Titans is this defensive line versus this offensive line, and it very much so is a mismatch. I would say the defensive line is one of the Titans' greatest strengths. The offensive line is, without a doubt, the Bengals' biggest weakness.
Didn't Chris sound a little too cocky?
That sounded incredibly cocky. And I understand that. I understand that's a mismatch, but that's just one element of the game. Because can you consider, what if the Titans don't get to the quarterback? You think those defensive backs can keep up with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Taylor Boyd?
If the Titans don't get to the quarterback in any game that they're about
to
play,
lose.
They will lose.
You lose.
That's as
so to look at one element of it, one mismatch of it, I don't think is fair, and I think is a little over dramatic to say that the Titans are going to smoke them. I wouldn't put my money on it.
So I'm a little torn here. I do think the Titans should win on Sunday. I do think that they should win, not in comfortable fashion, not where, from the second snap of the game, it's over, but from where when it's in the middle of the third and fourth quarter, it should be like what San Francisco is feeling for the entire game until the very end yesterday. Where they comfortably could have, it's 23-7. Okay, now it's 23-15 or 16 or whatever it was. Okay, but, at the end of the day, they got it. Final score, Titans 24, Bengals 13, and whatever.
Maybe a second half comeback.
I do think that's what it should be. That's what it should be on Saturday.
But are things ever that easy with the Titans?
No. I have two thoughts about Chris's comments. 3. The first thought is I hope he's right. The one thing about the defensive line in the NFL is that if you've got a great defensive line, you can beat anybody. Tom Brady and the 2007 Patriots were the best team that I have ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not sure there is anybody who covers the NFL who has seen a more dominant team than the 2007 Patriots, which Mike Vrabel was a part of. And why did they lose in the Super Bowl to the Giants? Because the Giants had Michael Strahan and O.C. Umenyiora and Justin Tuck and Matthias Kiwanuka, and they hit Brady about 45 times. And I think they held Brady to 17 points. And that offense was the best offense I've ever seen in my life. That's the best team I've ever seen in my life. And the defensive line carried the Giants. They carried them past Brett Favre and the Packers and Lambeau because defense travels. Mm-hmm. So that's the best defense I've ever seen. Titans' defensive line is pretty good. Now, they're not as good as Strahan and Tuck and Umenyiora and those guys, but it's pretty good. And when they're humming, as the Kansas City game proved, they could stop any offense. First series of that game, Bud Dupree came off a strip sack, sacked Patrick Mahomes, and I'm like, if Bud Dupree's going to do this, like, it's a total game changer for the Titans. And it's been a game changer. We saw him spook Stafford in the Rams game, and Stafford's like, yeah, I mean, like, he looked like he didn't want to be there. It was that bad. So I think a good defensive line can beat anybody in any game. So I do think that's true. The Bengals have also allowed a league-high 51 sacks. The second thing, though, that bothers me about this, or my second thought on it is, Chris has had some really wild takes over the years.
Yeah, he has.
Like, and I love him, and everybody loves him, and it's the one thing I feel like, personally, that everybody loves Chris because he's the nicest guy in the world. He played for the Titans, and he's so enthusiastic about everything.
There's nothing to not love.
There is nothing to not love about Chris Sanders. He is like a brother to me, but he has had some off-the-wall ridiculous takes. So when I hear Chris Sanders say, like, oh, blow him out, I'm kind of like, I do remember that this is the guy who thinks the coin toss is the most important part of the game.
That is true.
The third thing that I find crazy about this, like, I could probably say whatever I want. It's probably not going to affect the game at all. Like, whatever I say about the Bengals, or I think if the Bengals got a hold of that audio right there and they took it in the locker room and they're like, hey, this guy played on the Titans in the 90s. He was part of the team that went to the Super Bowl that lost by a yard. You know, he was an all-rookie team receiver. And this is what they're saying in Nashville about you. I do think that could fire the Bengals up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that
I know
Chris
for a
Sanders
fact
clip,
that fires Joe Burrow up.
Oh, my God. I guarantee you. I guarantee you that if Vrabel heard that, he would cringe.
Oh.
And remember that.
Like that.
And remember, Chris is his college teammate.
Uh-huh.
But, like, he would cringe if he heard what Chris Sanders said. Because and I'm not hiding it, it's not like we're scrubbing the pocket. Oh, we don't want Cincinnati to know, oh my God. I'm not doing that. But, I mean, Elijah, can we get that again, please? I mean, just listen to the just pure, and I'm not saying it's arrogant, because Chris isn't an arrogant dude.
No.
But just pure, what's the right word?
Fanboyism?
I wouldn't say that. The lack of respect that Chris has for Cincinnati on Saturday.
Who would be the easiest?
The easiest. Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals. I would say the reason why I would say the Cincinnati Bengals is because we have a nice, nasty front.
Yeah.
And I think their offensive line is struggling. I think if they came into Nissan Stadium, I don't think it'll be a close game. I understand they have Jamar Chase and they have Boyd and they have some big-time wide receivers, but their offensive line struggles. And with our defense, with Simmons and Landry and them dogs that sick the quarterback, I think we'll put a goose egg on them.
I mean, that really is like the Bengals, no doubt.
Their receivers, whatever.
I know they got some good players, but
we got better players.
I mean, I'll blow them out. I'll just blow them out. I think they'll goose egg them. Like, if Zach Taylor got his hands on that, if he was smart, and I don't know if he's smart or not because he kind of feels like a cheese ball, but if Zach Taylor got his hands on that and walked into the team meeting tomorrow, because I'm going to guess they're going to practice tomorrow because they played on Saturday, and so that's like Sunday. So then Sunday becomes Monday, Tuesday becomes Wednesday, and Wednesday's the first day you practice. So it wouldn't surprise me if both teams have a real practice tomorrow. If he went into the team meeting tomorrow and played that clip, like, first he'd have to explain who Chris Sanders was. But because Chris played in the league and played on a Super Bowl team and played like Chris.
He's not just a talking head.
He's not me. Like, and he said, hey, this is what Chris Sanders said, and played the clip. I guarantee of those 53 people that are in there, there'd be a bunch of them who are pretty pissed off about that. Like, I mean, no respect for us. We're sitting over here. We're 7th. We just beat the Chiefs. We got the – and can you imagine being on the offensive line? You gave up 51 sacks this year. Here's some guy in Nashville. It's like, that offensive line, those receivers, goose egg. I'm serious. Now, it's not the same as like a Titan player saying it, but –
I mean, it's the closest thing.
I do think that that would like have an effect on the game.
I know for a fact it would have an effect on Joe Burrow.
I was thinking about this. Like, I wonder, we all remember how non-committal Floyd could be sometimes about certain things. And one time when they were hiring a coach, when they hired Vrabel, we were talking about Josh McDaniels. Would he be a good coach? And Floyd was like, I don't know. He was a good coordinator when I was in New England, but I don't know if he'd be a good coach. And I'm like, Floyd, like, you worked with the man for 4 years. You can't, like, if he'd be a good coach or not. And so he kind of jumped me pretty hard, and he was like, you can say whatever you want and nobody cares. But if I say who they should hire, then it is on the front page of ESPN.com, and everybody in that facility will know what I think, and I don't feel like I should put any pressure on them. I'm like, you know what? That makes sense.
Fair.
Like, I get it. I understand you almost saying, like, hey, I need to abstain here. I wonder if at times he abstained a little bit on some of the things he said because he didn't want it to affect the game from like a motivational standpoint or something of that magnitude.
We talk about Mike Vrabel, using noise as fuel. We talk about Bill Belichick doing that. Do we think more coaches in the league do that? Or is that a Belichick tree kind of thing?
No. I mean, I think everybody has people that are dedicated to trying to find these kind of things. And some people slip up, and I bet there's slip-ups throughout the course of the year that aren't taken personal. Mm-hmm. And then there are some that are, Freddie Mitchell, the wide receiver from the Eagles, went on SportsCenter before they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl with Dan Patrick. And Dan Patrick asked Freddie Mitchell who was the best corner on the Patriots. And he was like, do I have to say their names?
Yeah, I know their numbers.
And he was like, what? He was like, you can't name one corner on the Patriots? Like, I know their numbers. And like the Patriots got really upset about that. So I don't know. But again, whatever the Bengals decide to do, I don't care. Do you think Chris Sanders is right?
I don't think so.
I'm torn.
Why?
Because I think the Titans should win.
The Titans should win, but does that necessarily mean they're going to smoke them? They're going to goose egg them? The Titans should win.
I can't
But I think we know the Titans well enough to know that a blowout seems unlikely.
2 years ago, the number 1 seeds played on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, fine team, good defense, Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. San Francisco just boat raced Minnesota. Was not a very close game.
Mm-hmm.
Titans went on the road and beat the Ravens. I could kind of see either thing happening. Like, I feel in my heart like this. I feel in my heart like Saturday should be a comfortable game. Not a blowout, not running them out of the building, but it should be not like the Dolphins game, but maybe more so like, I'm trying to think of who the Titans beat this year where it was like a rather comfortable, like not the end of the world kind. I don't know. A lot of these games came right down to the wire. Kind of like the Rams game.
Mm-hmm. Where it was comfortable.
Titans defensive line took over the game. Mm-hmm. Titans spooked them. Nice lead the whole time.
But it's still a good opponent, so you're not going to kick your legs up.
Right, like you're sitting there in the fourth quarter, and you're up 11, and you're like, if they could just kick a field goal here, it'd be really,
a little
really
bit
nice.
Of some comfort points.
Like, I feel like that's what they should do. So I'm kind of with Chris, and they allowed a league-high 51 sacks, and they haven't beaten anybody good on the road. I don't know. Let's take calls on it. Let's get calls on it. 615-737-1025. Chris Sanders just blows up the Bengals. Just blows them up. Says the Titans, says the easiest opponent going into Wild Card Weekend would be the Bengals, and just says, they're going to blow them out. Do you agree with Chris? 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get your thoughts in on that. Plus, on a scale of 1 to 10, with like 2 being how worried you would be of the Steelers, How worried are we of the Bengals? We'll discuss that next as well. Again, Cincinnati coming in here on a Reaction Monday, which is powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, naturally caffeinated sparkling water with a spark. DrinkFocus.com. Let me tell all the fine folks out there, I got to tell them something, and I am trying to find it. Which and where I am trying to tell them. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Right now, buy $100 and get $50 to the Woodhouse Spa Nashville. Save $75 off at Nashville Armory, the Beanbag Coffee and Tea Shop, and Seafood Sensation. And you can get get $50 free with a $100 purchase in downtown dollars. Check out all of Nashville's best deals now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jared Stillman and Company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Invite you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Well, don't do it. Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. Willie Donick here. It's time to call the folks at QC Kinetics. Non-surgical, regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgery, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative, restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients rave about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them give you the steroids. Don't let them tell you your surgery is the only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics and do it now. And imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money based on how you drive and how much you drive. So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were looking at your phone while driving, let me say it again. Seriously, put down your phone. That is so unsafe. If you didn't do stuff like use your phone while driving, you could save money with Progressive Snapshot. But saving or not, just put it down. And if you did hear it the first time because you weren't looking at your phone, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
It's the first pick in the draft and the fourth pick of the draft. So obviously a lot of talent. And then I think that the trust and the connection that you referenced is there. It's there down the field, whether it's back, shoulder, whether it's in the quick game, but I think he has that, with Higgins and Boyd, they don't have any issues throwing the football. He's really good and instinctive in the pocket to be able to avoid what rush there may be, and has the ability to extend plays and keep his eyes down the field, and the arm talent to get those guys the ball.
There you go. That was Vrabel talking about Burrow and Jamar Chase. Now they're good. Chris Sanders says they're going to blow them out. Chris Sanders says the Titans are going to blow out Cincinnati. How mad? So Vrabel and Chris go back to borderline high school, right?
Yeah.
I want to say maybe Chris was a year or two older than him at Ohio State. They play on the same Ohio State team. They were on the same team. Eddie George, Kirk Herbstreit, Luke Fickell. I mean, that was a
star-studded.
Joey Galloway.
Wow.
That was a pretty loaded Ohio State team. So they go back. Let's say the Titans lose, and after the game's over, and the Bengals are talkers outside of Burrow. They are trash talkers. And let's say after the game, they're like, yeah, we heard that old former receiver came out and said that they were going to goose egg us. Well, goose egg that, or whatever, talking about Chris.
Right.
How mad should Vrabel be at Chris?
Well, Vrabel should be mad at Chris, yes, but also
0. Get your boys ready to play.
That's what I was gonna say. Should he be mad at him? Whatever. But if the Titans lose on Saturday, it's not because Chris Sanders made a comment about the Bengals. It's because the Titans didn't show up ready to play, or they turned the ball over, or they couldn't get to the quarterback. Whatever reason you want to list. It's not because Chris Sanders thinks that they're going to goose egg him.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Chris
Sanders did not work some voodoo magic on the show, and all of a sudden the Bengals can't play football.
Okay, scale of 1 to 10. Let's say Pittsburgh's a 2. With how worried you would have been of the Steelers if they had won that game, what's your worry level of Cincinnati?
I would say a 5.
I was going to say 6.
Yeah, they're doubly as intimidating as the Steelers. I mean, that's a young team. That's a really good quarterback. But, I mean, at the end of the day, their offensive line isn't very good. But they're, they're not Buffalo.
What would Kansas City and Buffalo be?
Buffalo, for me, would be like a 9. And I think Kansas City would be a 7.5.
So I was going to say Kansas City 8, Buffalo 9.
Yeah.
Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robert is going to kick us off this hour. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, what a great time of year. This is fun coming up, isn't it?
It is exciting. What's up?
Chris could be right. The matchup is there for them. Could be a very long day for Cincinnati. However, look at tendencies. The Titans have driven us nuts all year long, losing games that they should have won, correct?
Sure.
Yeah. Last game they played was against the Texans. First half went their way. Got an incredibly bad call, which goes back to an earlier segment that you were talking about.
Sure. Robert, I think I get your point, which is you're worried about the Titans getting too cocky, right?
No, just traditionally, look what happened. They fell apart. They looked awful second half of the game.
So I thought about this today. Thank you for your call, Robert. The games the Titans haven't shown up for were all against bad teams. They have not shown up for a good game against a decent team, except for Arizona the first week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, the games where they just fell apart, just straight up crap their pants, just didn't show up. And that includes the Saints where they won, or the Colts, the third Colts game where they won those games. But they just dumped all over their pants. But never against a good team did they dump in their pants this year. Even New England, when New England was good, and they went on the road to New England, and they had A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and Derrick Henry. They went in there with no players. It was all Hilliard and Foreman. And they lost that game. But, they played, a smart game that they were prepared to play.
And they were in it. It's not like they went up big and at the half they just decided to kick their feet up like they did against the most recent Texans game. They were in that game.
No, they smoked a blunt before they played the Texans, and they smoked one at halftime of the second
And
Texans
it was just
game.
a little bit too much.
It was just too much. They were out there
They were snacking in the third quarter.
They were like, yo, you want to go cover Danny Amendola?
No, I don't feel like it.
You got it, man. Believe in you, man. Corey. I can't believe I just said that. Corey's up next. Go ahead, Corey.
Hey, Jared. So I guess what I like to say is I disagree with Sanders just for the simple fact that Burrow's already been in the league this, year and a half, and, last year teams are pretty much about the same as far as, people-wise, but, Cincinnati beat them last year 31-20, and I understand it was in Cincinnati, but your talent level is still there, maybe a little bit more for Cincinnati. So that's just my thoughts.
So the Titans lost that game. Thank you for your call. The Titans lost that game. I did this maybe 4 months ago. I was looking through my phone. Instagram has this weird feature where every story you take still exists, even though
your archive.
And there was one. I was just looking at old stories of me and Floyd. And there was one where I had previewed the show for 2:00. It was a Reaction Monday. And it was after they lost to the Bengals. Because that game was freaking embarrassing. I call it the Vic Beasley game. Vic Beasley played 4 snaps. He was offsides for 2 of them. They cut him the next day. So I wrote down a list of who was trash, who wasn't trash, and whatever. And I mean, it was everybody played poorly in that game. And if the officials had made they made a phantom voodoo Jerome Boger level call on a Jayon Brown interception that took it off the board, and it totally would have made it a ball game. All I remember about that game is the Titans got no pass rush. Joe tore them apart. They took a Jayon Brown interception off the board. Tannehill got intercepted in the red zone by Jesse Bates, which better not happen this week. And Arthur called a terrible game because the Titans could literally have run at will on Cincinnati, and they didn't do it, which is crazy, right? Every play, there was a drive to start the second half where they just gave it to Derek every play, and Derek got 13 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards. They had to take him out, bring in Foreman for a couple of plays, and then they brought Derek back in and they scored, and then they kept trying to throw the ball. And I was like, what are you doing? And then I think they cut Foreman a week later. So I'm trying to find this list, but it was literally trash, not trash, and indifferent. And officials were trash that day. It was just, oh goodness, it was bad. Let me see. Monday the 2nd. Let's see. Oh, I guess this is a video. I don't know. I guess I try. Oh, here you go. Not trash. Derrick Henry, Corey Davis, and uniforms. Trash. Defense, coaching, special teams, Ryan Tannehill, Clowney/Beasley, Scott Novak's crew, Jonathan Joseph. Oh, that was the Jonathan Joseph game. Oh, God, poor guy. They brought him in there to be the fourth corner, Vrabel's buddy from Houston, and he just got
stunk up the place.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it was bad. Let's get back to your phones next. 615-737-1025. Again, Chris Sanders says they're going to blow him out. What do we think of Cincinnati? I see your phones. We'll write to him next here on Stillman and Company. Got my mixed buried focus right here. I actually knocked down a focus this morning because I've been all over the place. I was thinking about the show last night and was working on it last night, working on it this morning. Had a lot to get done today, so I knocked down a focus. Natural tea caffeine, that natural energy. You can call it sparkling water, or you can call it a naturally energizing, brain-focusing, taste-analyzing hydrator that combines simple ingredients to create the perfect guilt-free pick-me-up your body will crave to feel its best. Find out more at drinkfocus.com. You can also pick up Focus at your local Publix. So roll into a Publix, say, hey, I don't want to try these energy drinks with the crash, like coffee, or these energy drinks with all this sugar and calories. Screw that. No, get a Focus and get that natural tea caffeine. Again, give it a try. And if you use promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, at checkout, you'll get 15% off your entire order for your first order. That's Focus. Drink Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, drinkfocus.com.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Cold once again tonight. Low temperatures falling into the lower 20s, so another refreeze possible on many of our roadways for your Tuesday morning. The afternoon tomorrow puts us into the low 40s and mainly sunny throughout the day.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and the final night of Wild Card Weekend just got wilder. FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new customers with 30-1 enhanced odds. That means you can bet $5 to win $150 on tonight's final Wild Card game, and what a game it's going to be. I got the Rams taking down the Cardinals. I trust Matthew Stafford and company to get it done, but you take it any way you want to take it. Just sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook and make a deposit to claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. I love betting the NFL playoffs on America's #1 sportsbook because it's easy to use. There's always great promotions, and when you get paid, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. So don't miss your chance to win $150 on a $5 bet when you sign up using promo code ROB. Once again, that promo code is ROB. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. A $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. A max bonus of $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Attention Nice List recipients. The Mercedes-Benz winter event is here. Make this season your reason. Forget the halls, deck the garage. Hark, the turbo engines sing. Like hot cocoa in a blizzard, this opportunity won't last long. Hurry for these exclusive offers from Nashville's 2-time Best of the Best award-winning Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Just one exit from the airport. Go to mbofmc.com.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Ryan Johansson. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Who would be the easiest?
The easiest. The Cincinnati Bengals. I would say the reason why I would say the Cincinnati Bengals is because we have a nice, nasty front.
Yeah.
And I think their offensive line is struggling. I think if they came into Nissan Stadium, I don't think it'll be a close game. I understand they have Jamar Chase and they have Boyd and they have some big-time wide receivers, but their offensive line struggles. And with our defense, with Simmons and Landry and them dogs that sick the quarterback, I think we'll put a goose egg on.
I think we'll blow them out, Chris Sanders says. Blow them out.
Goose egg.
I don't even know what the popular sports talk radio station in Cincinnati is. I know the Reds games are on 700 WLW, but I think that's a news talk station. I need to see what they're saying in Cincinnati. Like Mo Egger and those guys, see what they're saying in Cincinnati about.
Well, I'm on it this week.
You are in charge of Cincinnati.
I will report back.
I do
Your
wonder
official Cincinnati correspondent.
if they can find Chris Sanders just drilling the Bengals. Which, let me state for the record, TD, if you can get this, Elijah, TD had a take, to follow up to Chris's take, where TD was talking about, the Titans and the Bengals and everything else. And this is what TD said on that preview show where Chris just threw him under the bus. A slightly more measured take from TD. Here's what he said.
This is the thing that intrigues me about the Bengals. They have the 5th overall run defense.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans want to run the football. They're not going to jerk the wheel, right? Isn't that what that's what Todd Downing said?
Right.
I'm not going to jerk the wheel on the offense. And you rest assured they're definitely not going to do it with the tractor coming back. So I want to see how that one matches up. But I do like the way the Titans' defense matches up against the Bengals.
So he basically is a little bit more measured than they're going to smoke him like Chris Sanders had. But I promised phones, so phones we go. 615-737-1025. Shaq has been waiting patiently and is up next. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Shaq.
How you doing, Jared? This is my first time calling in.
Cool.
Man, I just wanted to call in and say I really do not think what Chris Sanders said was a smart thing to say, dealing with what the Titans have been through over the last couple of years and how they do play when they do get into playoffs. Even though we did have that spectacular run a couple of years ago and made it to the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs and fell short, I still do believe that they have to prove themselves. Now, with Derrick Henry coming back this week and with Julio and A.J. Brown getting on the same page as Ryan Tannehill, I think we can put up a lot of points on Saturday because this is going to be a big home game and a lot of people are going to come out. Cincinnati's going to travel well, too. So we do have to keep that in mind. But I don't think that we will lay a goose egg on these guys. I think they will come in. They will be ready to play. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is a dynamic duo that we will have to face for years to come. So with him saying that it's going to be a goose egg, it's going to be easy, I think he will want to keep his mouth closed. It's too soon to talk. Until we get that Super Bowl title up on our belts, then we can be cocky. Other than that, go Titans, and let's get the king rolling Saturday.
Thank you for your call, Shaq. I'm sure there is a part of the fan base that's like, why would Chris Sanders say that? You're going to jinx it, Chris Sanders. How dare you? That like the more so like the fear of jinxing it, more than the idea of the Bengals getting their hands on what Chris Sanders said and then it being like motivating fuel. I care more about the motivating fuel thing, and I don't really care that much. If they do it, they do it. If they don't do it, then they missed maybe an opportunity. But I'm more concerned about that than I am about like, oh, Chris, too cocky, jinxing it. I do believe Vrabel will have the team ready to play. Maybe it's a bad assumption. Maybe they'll come out there and Chester Rogers will do something stupid, returning a punt like he's done way too many times this season. And all of a sudden, Cincinnati will get the ball at the Tennessee 8-yard line. It'll be 14-0 before you know it, which I pray to God doesn't happen, but maybe it does. But that's different, than where, like, what he's saying. Basically, what he's saying is Cincinnati, Titans march right down the field. Cincinnati has an average defense, right?
Yes.
And Ogunjobi's out, and Trey Hendrickson's a concussion protocol. He'll probably play, but he might not. And if he doesn't play, that's a big
good
deal.
news for the Titans.
Because now you're talking about 20 sacks have left the field if those two guys aren't out there. So they've got a good defense. Like, they've got an good. No. They've got,
fine,
like a below-average defense. Well, I expect the Titans to be able to get the football with Derrick Henry, go right down the field and score. The opening scripted drives, and I expect the Titans to be able to score on Cincinnati. The other side of it being like, okay, now Cincinnati gets the ball. And remember when the Titans played Kansas City, Titans move right down the field, score a touchdown, 7-0 Titans. Now here comes Kansas City. They get a first down. Then now they're around midfield. Bud Dupree strip sack. They're punting to the Titans. Now Kansas City's on their heels. I think what Chris is thinking is that in this game, Cincinnati will start off, and the Titans will be able to run the ball and move the ball down the field. Again, they're secondary at Cincinnati, and Hendrickson is the big sacker. He's 14 sacks. Ogunjobi, 7 sacks. Now, Sam Hubbard had 7.5, which is tied for second on the team. And the guy who's replacing Ogunjobi, B.J. Hill, had 5.5. So they get some sacks. But I think the way Chris is thinking about it is you're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry, and then you're going to have A.J. Brown against Chidobe Awuzie, who is a starting corner in the league, but probably more like Jackrabbit than anything else. So he thinks you're going to be able to move on Cincinnati. I would agree. He's thinking now, okay, it's 7-0, Cincinnati gets the ball. Now you sack Joe Burrow, you hit Joe Burrow, you rush Joe Burrow. Interception, Byard, ball goes down to the 8-yard line. 14-0 Titans. Now Joe Mixon running the ball is totally out of the equation. Cincinnati's under pressure, and they've got an offensive line that's allowed the league high 51 sacks. That, I think, is what he's thinking. And I could see it.
I could see it. I just am not willing to say that that's what I am betting on happening.
Yeah, I mean,
I totally could see it.
I'm not ready to say blowout, but I mean, I think that's what he's thinking. That's why he said it.
And earlier you said, I could see two different ways. It could be a Titans blowout, but I could also see the Bengals potentially coming in here and, getting a win and sneaking away with it in the second half.
I could see the Titans screwing up.
I could see the Titans screwing up too, and that's why I am not ready to say that, it could be a blowout, because I think that it maybe not just as likely, but there is still a likelihood that the Titans could turn the ball over and could give this game up and put it in the hands of the Bengals.
You're getting better. You're getting better at it. That, by the way, is a pet peeve of mine. People who say Bengals. It is Bengals. Bengals. The A is at the end. It's not at the beginning. Bengals. No.
You just said Bengals.
No, I did that as like don't say that.
The Bengals.
Bengals. Bing.
Bengals.
Like Bing.
Bengals.
Like Bing.
Cincinnati.
Bengals.
Bengals.
There you go. Much better. Joe, for somebody who's not from the South, Joe this morning was just, it was like bang the drum. It was Bengals, Bengals, Bengals. Oh, God, it was driving me nuts. So last year when the Titans played the Bengals, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about this at some point during the week, but I remember Tannehill had just a brutally bad interception early. And this was when I liked Tannehill. Like before I got into holding my rear end every time he dropped back to pass. This is when I had faith in Tannehill as a quarterback. So, by the way, Cincinnati's kicker was Randy Bullock. They go down the field. Randy Bullock good from 33 yards. Titans drive all the way down. So they get the ball at the 31. Tannehill to Jonnu Smith for 10. Derrick Henry, no gain. Tannehill to Kari Blasingame for 5. Tannehill runs it for 15. Henry for 4. Henry, no gain. Tannehill to Davis for 27. The ball is now at the Cincinnati 8. First and goal from the Cincinnati 8, and Tannehill throws an interception in the end zone.
Can't do that.
And I was like...
That's how you lose games. You cannot do that.
And I remember because it was one of those really risky throws. It was in between two defenders. And it was okay, if you're going to put the ball there, you got to get it there. You got to zip it and you got to get it there. But why take that risk on first down? It's first and goal from the 8. You have the best running back in the NFL. Throw the ball out of the back of the end zone and live to play another day. And I remember being what's he doing? This is Ryan Tannehill. He never turns the ball over.
Wow.
What is he doing?
Oh, how the turntables.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. But that was the precursor to you losing. And if he does that this week, then Chris's theory is probably not going to come to fruition.
There was one interesting text that I wanted to get to.
Fire it.
We were talking about, who do Titans fans want to win? Bills or Chiefs?
Sure.
A texter texts in and asks, who do you think Bills and Chiefs fans want to win the Bengals and Titans game?
Oh, Titans. No, excuse me. Bengals.
Bengals?
Yeah, they want to host. Cincinnati is not going into Buffalo and winning an AFC championship game at Orchard Park.
If the Bengals come into Nissan Stadium and blow out the Titans, opposite of what Chris Sanders thought.
Do you think there's any chance the Bengals will blow out the Titans?
Have
the Titans been blown out this year?
No, I don't think that they will. No, I don't.
The first game of the year against Arizona,
they got blown out against Arizona. But
other than that, I don't think they've gotten blown out all year.
No.
They don't get blown out. And it's funny because I was thinking okay, well, Cincinnati just beat Kansas City, but that game was in Cincinnati. And I've got friends that are Chief fans, and they just cried and cried and cried about the officiating after the game. And maybe there was some truth there. I don't know. But home field advantage usually gets you the flags.
Mm-hmm.
Or superstar Tom Brady advantage gets you the flags. And Cincinnati has neither in this game. But I was thinking about, okay, Cincinnati just beat Kansas City, so would Kansas City rather play Tennessee than play Kansas City? And I'm like, Kansas City can play an Arrowhead where they could look at it and say, hey, we didn't get the flags. We were playing on the road. We will mess this team up. If we got to play them again, we'd mess them up. They also lost to the Titans. They also lost on the road to the Titans in the playoffs. So, I think that they would both root for the Bengals. I think they would want to avoid the Titans.
I would agree.
I think they look at the Titans, and they don't think the Titans are an explosive offensive team, but I think they look at Derrick Henry and the fact that the Titans have beaten these teams, not just this year, but also beaten them in the past.
And the fact that the Titans would host
And I think
The
there's
AFC
probably a
Championship
part
game?
that's like, Henry and Brown and that defense. Like, I think there's something that would bother
The defensive line, yeah.
What else we got?
One texter texts in and says, what should our expectations be for the wide receivers going into this game, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones?
So I didn't care about Julio. Like, do Julio on your own time. So, like, their secondary, I was looking it up today. Eli Apple is the corner from Ohio State, was drafted in the first round in 2016, and he's been on like 6 teams.
And he ain't nothing special.
And he is just, every team that he's been on, people have just complained about him. He's one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like they have average corners. 2 interceptions, one guy, 2 interceptions, another guy, 2 interceptions, a third guy. Both safeties have 1 pick. If
their corners don't scare you.
If Hendrickson doesn't play, off of what I saw this past weekend, I think he should be able to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Raiders have, I like Renfro and I like Waller, and you certainly don't have a tight end like Waller, but there's nothing there for me that I just think, oh man, these guys are just so, Raider passing game is just so electric. Now, I think the question is, can you make them do whatever you want everybody to do, which is, can Derek run the ball well? And then everybody sucks up to try to stop Derek, and then you hit him over the top. But I don't know. Coming up next, Predators. Big game tonight for the Predators. Predators game day before they take on St. Louis. Pre-game coverage, by the way, begins at 6:30. So we will do Predators game day next. Stillman & Company right here. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. Cold once again tonight. Low temperatures falling into the lower 20s, so another refreeze possible on many of our roadways for your Tuesday morning. The afternoon tomorrow puts us into the low 40s and mainly sunny throughout the day.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today. At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year. It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Bank of England Mortgage has been helping Americans live the dream of homeownership for over 100 years. Since their humble beginnings in England, Arkansas in 1898, they've grown into a nationwide mortgage lender with 141 offices across 45 states, including 3 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at BOE1214.com. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and I want to talk to you about my friends at Creation CBD. You hear me talk about them every single day because they present Darren, Donick, and Chase, and we are proud to be associated with them and happy about it. And if you have aches and pains, on your body, whether it's from working out, being active, getting older, and you're looking for a solution, well, I've got it. Creation CBD. Creation means healing, and that says a lot. Creation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here in Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Creation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use, including your pets, and you've heard me tell this story. Our female German Shepherd has had seizures for over 3 years, and lots of them. No matter how many pills a day she was on, the vet visits, nothing changed. But since putting her on the pet tincture, everything has changed. The seizures have stopped, she's lost weight, and she's a dog again. Right now, Creation CBD has got a special offer for DDC listeners. Go to CreationCompany.com, get 25% off your order by using the code DDC25 at checkout. DDC25 at checkout for 25% off your Creation CBD products. It's Creation CBD, curated for life.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution. And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at ParmanTractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Psst. A secret to sticking with your goals? The right gear. That's why I went to Kohl's and got an Adidas hoodie for under $45, picked up some Nike sneakers, and got a new fleece from Tech Gear for just $12.99. Oh, I even got an extra 15% off and earned Kohl's cash. So I'll be going back for more. Shopping counts as cardio, right? Select styles, Adidas and Nike coupons do not apply. Ends January 17. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Robbie Stanley.
Coming in off the water. Yeah. Coming in there to tailgate.
Joe Rexrode.
That was fun.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
It's Hockey Night in Smashville.
Deflects back for Duchesne. His shot stopped, and the score!
What are the keys to victory tonight? What's being said in the locker room? Where do the Preds reside in the Central Division standings? Jared Stillman has the latest now. With Preds Game Day on Stillman and Company. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. This is Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Predators game day tonight at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. The Predators are 24-12-3, good for 51 points. The Blues 22-11-5, good for 49 points. The Predators lost on Saturday in overtime against the Boston Bruins. The puck drop is 7:30 tonight, so our pregame coverage beginning in 35 minutes or so. Predators Insiders will follow us coming up next. That'll do it for us, Reaction Monday. We'll see you all tomorrow.